sold my soul to the bottle. Still none of my friends have left me yet. I'm the same man I was since the age of 13, and I've lived my life with no regrets. If you're looking for some freedom, all it takes is 10 drinks minimum. If you're looking for rhyme or reason, all it takes is 10 drinks minimum.
Hey, I think we're live. I think we're live here at 10 Drink Minimum Studios. I should say live deep in the heart of the Santa Barbara neighborhood. You're listening to 10 Drink Minimum with Chris, Holly Ann, Billy, and Smiley.
That's right, going old school.
Old
Wow.
school. Yeah.
That was our old intro.
Billy is actually not here. He wanted to watch football with his father because he's moving away, and he's like, my dad and I want to watch football together. And I was like, just stay there.
That's exactly how he said it, too. It was
I want to watch football.
I want to watch the
bird.
foosball.
I would like to watch my team lose today.
Isn't that what they do every Sunday if you're a Cowboys fan?
Yeah.
They just watch them lose.
It's a lose-lose situation. And weirdly, my team is undefeated. And I got so mad at them years ago, I just kind of like fell off of the watching. You know, I was like, and then now they're like good, and I'm like, I don't.
Who's
even
your
know.
team?
49ers fan. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was so
makes
angry
sense.
that we fired our coach for being too hard on the players, and I was like, he took us to the Super Bowl, and you're firing him because he's mean to the player. Isn't that what coaches do? They fucking yell at the players. You know, I don't know. But yeah, we have a special guest in the studio. Holly? Do you want to tell us who's in the studio with you?
Absolutely. My best friend, my mentor, the person who ruined my life with comedy, Mr. Curt Fletcher is here.
Hi.
Hey, welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So you're actually a touring comedian. Like you tour all over. That's all you do all the time, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's your career.
That's his career.
So I mean, how hard was it to get to that level?
It's still hard to stay at this level, you know?
Every day.
God, it's years and years and years of work and sleeping in my car and taking Greyhound buses. And
I would like to mention that Curt did not mention any of that stuff when he was like, hey, you should be a comedian.
Wow.
Just
Thanks,
gave you
Curt.
the sunny side.
He did. He was
For
like,
me,
it'll
all
be
you
great.
would have to tell me is like, yeah, you have to ride the Greyhound bus. I'd be like,
I'm out.
yeah.
yeah.
That's the crazy thing about comedians. We're like, okay, sign me up.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, I got to take a Greyhound bus 30 hours to South Dakota. I'll do it.
I'll do it. I'll sleep
Yeah.
in my car. I'll do all kinds of stuff.
Ooh, it's like the people that are like, yeah, I want to be a stuntman. You're like, you're gonna break bones in your body. I know, just it's in me. You know? Something's wrong with me. You know?
I do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Curt
And
I
there's something wrong with me, yeah. There you go. Yeah, hit me with a car. That sounds like fun. I can do it like at least 3 more times.
Right,
I'm
right.
good.
Yeah. Curt took me on my first tour, and I remember, I don't know if you remember this moment, but I do, where you're like, you still want to do comedy? And I was like, yeah. Because, you know, when you tour as a comedian, Curt can attest to this, it's not as fun as it seems. It's not as... Well, it's fun. It's just not as luxurious as you would assume.
No. I assume it's shitty.
It's much better than working a 9 to 5. Though,
Oh yeah,
you know?
absolutely. And then, so that tour,
Okay.
that was the time we stayed at a bed and breakfast. Do you remember this? In Montrose, Colorado. They made me sing "Happy Birthday" to somebody as the opener, and then our show didn't go great.
Oh, it was one of the worst I've ever done.
Oh yeah, it was so bad.
I
And
was at a country club.
yes,
So imagine the type of people that go to a country club.
Oh, wait a minute. Like a country bar or like
No,
a club?
country
like
club.
Like rich
Like
people?
I would have
like
been happy
rich
with a country
person.
bar.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. We've done country bars.
I was just
Yeah.
kind of like country club. Okay.
No, it was a country club, like rich old people.
Like Caddyshack?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we did not go over
Except
well.
not funny.
Not funny. Not funny at all.
How hard is it to go like talk to the people afterwards when you just
Oh.
completely?
Oh, you
bombed
just
the show?
leave.
You just leave.
immediately.
Oh, really?
You don't talk to them because you don't want to.
Yeah.
You don't walk up and go, yeah, we'll have the check and we actually have to go.
Yeah, you just try not to talk to anyone.
No
Yeah.
eye contact.
Some of the cool people invited us to go to Applebee's and do karaoke with
No,
them.
they didn't invite us.
They didn't?
Remember, we
What?
went because Cal Verducci, who was the headliner on
yeah.
that tour,
Holy-
Cal
yeah.
Verducci had to do karaoke after comedy, and the only place in Montrose, Colorado that was doing
Applebee's.
it was Applebee's.
Oh wow.
And there were some ladies from the show, and they recognized us and
Okay,
they
so they
loved
were
us,
there, yeah,
and they
yeah.
bought us so much alcohol. But
Oh, well, that's
Cal and Curt don't drink, so Crystal and I were drinking all the alcohol.
Oh, nice.
And then Curt drank. What was that song you sang?
The Ballad of Chasey Lane.
The Ballad of Chasey Lane.
Yeah, halfway through it.
Bloodhound Gang. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they kicked me off the microphone.
They were like, no.
Yeah, no, a manager
is-
came up and was
This
like,
is God's country.
I mean, it was almost like that, but it was like, this is a family establishment.
Yeah, and it was like midnight.
It was
or
midnight in
something
an
like that.
Applebee's.
You're all well. Yeah. Okay. So the funny thing is, I'm from Clovis, New Mexico, which is
Oh, yeah.
a terrible place. But like the Applebee's there on Friday and Saturday nights, they move all the tables. They have a DJ comes in, and it becomes a
Oh,
club
wow.
at night. So
that's weird.
So what's going on with these Applebee's that they're like, yeah, party at Applebee's?
Oh, man. And then I just thought it was funny. I'm like, if your kid is in Applebee's at midnight,
Yeah, fuck you.
that kid
They
has
should know
like
that
bigger
song.
problems
Yeah.
than that song. Yes, they
Right,
should
right.
know
Yeah.
all the words to that song. Because if you don't know that song,
You should have did. You should. If they'd probably had it, the lap dancer. Lap dance is so much better when the stripper's crying.
I looked
yeah.
for it. They didn't have
Oh,
it.
they
man.
did not have that.
So this is funny. I was actually in Montrose earlier this year.
Oh, no.
Went to the same Applebee's. Did the song. Didn't get kicked off.
Nice. High five.
Yep. Different manager. I think.
They've really
Wow.
softened. They've really hardened maybe at the. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know which way they're going there.
Well, I wrote
Result.
them letters like every week.
You're
Also,
all, hey man, I don't need your censorship.
PC culture is bullshit.
Food's salty enough, bro.
Oh man, Curt and I have had so many ridiculous adventures. But I think Montrose was so the lady who owned the bed and breakfast also ran the show at the country club, and she came up to us after the show and was like, "I'm not feeding you guys breakfast tomorrow." And which is a bad thing to do if you have stand-up comedians staying in your hotel, don't say mean things and then also have a guest book available.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Because we wrote some pretty great things in the guest book. We like flipped pages and went further in. But we stayed at a bed and breakfast and did not get breakfast because we're horrible, I guess.
I don't know. She liked me this last time.
Well,
You went
maybe
back.
it
I
was
think
me.
she, yeah. I think she
"Oh,
forgot
you're
us.
the motherfucker that wrote
She-
in my book, didn't you?
I think she might have forgot us.
She might have forgot us.
Wait a
We
minute.
were
So you
forgettable.
bombed, and then she's like, "I'm not gonna feed you breakfast because you bombed." Was that? Did I
Yeah.
I
catch
think
that?
that's what it was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Wow.
basically.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the show, she was like, "Thanks for hanging in. Like, you never know what they're going to send us."
Oh man.
Yeah.
It was bad. But I think that was more Cal Verducci's fault than it was our fault.
That's interesting. Thanks
the
for hanging
headliner
in
was
there.
awful.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yep. And I don't care if he's watching this right now. Hi,
If
Cal
I was you,
Verducci. I
would've
love
just
you.
walked off stage.
I mean,
Yeah. Right.
If I were him,
They're all nice try, guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
it was rough.
Woohoo.
It was real rough.
Montrose, Colorado.
It went a lot better last time I was there. They had the show at the actual bed and breakfast in the backyard.
Oh, that's better.
And the crowd was totally different.
Oh wow.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I bet that's better.
Yeah.
What's the fucking weirdest place you've done a show then? If you're like doing a show in a bed and breakfast in the
the
backyard.
weirdest?
Oh.
I performed in an Arroyo under the
What?
freeway.
What?
Was that here in
And that was right by an Applebee's.
was that
yeah, it was
here?
on I-40.
Was
like
that
by
the-
the Applebee's on I-40 and
Okay.
what is that?
Was that
other
the
road?
Arroyo Stomp or whatever
Yeah.
they called it? I did part of that.
Yeah.
And I stopped when they were so stupid to set it up near the FBI building.
Yeah, I was over there. I was supposed to perform there.
Right.
And then the cops showed up like right
Immediately,
away.
I mean, I'm literally the band starts playing the first song,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and there's a fucking helicopter over
Yep.
us.
Oh, my
And
God.
I'm like, see, you can't put you can't do a secret thing over by the FBI
That's it.
building.
Yeah, exactly. When I first got there, I was like, isn't that FBI building right
Yeah,
over there?
yeah, yep. And I was like,
They still had the helicopters when we went to the Arroyo. The helicopters flying over, but they couldn't see us because we're all underneath the freeway.
oh, jeez.
Yeah,
Oh
that is
God.
ridiculous.
Well,
Because
That
I
seems crazy.
used to be able to, my friends back patio, you could see the FBI building, and we used to flip it off Girl, half a mile, because that's funny. Until like they sent him a photo of us on his rodeo flipping off the building. You know, can you please stop doing that?
my
Well, we should hang out in your front yard more often, dude. Like,
Yeah, that's
that is
crazy.
creepy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. That is pretty funny though. So I remember that. So underneath a bridge in Arroyo, I figured it'd be something like barn or.
I performed in a barn.
Oh no!
jeez.
Like here's the thing with comedians, like, and I think Curt can attest to that. Like, weird shows are not really, like, I've done house shows. You've done a show in Arroyo. Like, barn show sounds like a dream. You can fit a lot of people in
I've
there.
done a couple barn shows actually.
Yeah, that
That's
sounds like a
barns
dream.
that they turn into bars.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, weird. You know.
Yeah.
I feel like playing in a weird location also helps though, because then you could just like give 10
totally.
jokes right
Yeah.
off.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Oh,
his
yeah, I've
jokes
always
already
enjoyed it.
built in.
Yeah. Like the country club is probably the worst. Like, yeah, an Arroyo is way better than a country club.
I think the weirdest thing I've ever seen you do though wasn't it at that Rio Communities place that you had the wireless mic?
Oh, in Belen?
Yes, and you tried.
Oh.
They gave him like a Madonna mic.
Oh yeah, like you're doing a like what do you call those things, like at the airport? You're like untapped potential, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
And didn't you? I don't remember if you actually went off stage and poured the water in the toilet to make it seem like
Oh,
you were
yeah,
peeing.
I did
You
that.
totally did.
Yeah.
And he still didn't lose the crowd. He went
wow.
in the bathroom, poured a pitcher of water in the toilet, acted like he
I
was
just pretended I was
peeing,
peeing for like a minute and a half.
Oh, nice.
and he still had them
Yo,
in his
I was
back
I was
pocket.
talking into the, I'd like have the microphone down by the toilet and then I'd talk into it a little bit.
You're ugliest crowd I've ever seen. Ugliest crowd. And then you walk out, hey everybody, how's everyone doing tonight? Boo.
That's always fun with that cordless microphone. You can,
That's weird though. That would be.
screw around a little bit.
Does it fuck with you? Because like, you know, a lot of people with comedy, like it's you know, it's your cadence, your timing, and then you know you have that microphone, but if they stick one on you, you're like, I have my hands free.
I know.
Oh yeah.
I
I've only
wouldn't
done it
know.
a couple times, so it does mess with you. Yeah, I
Dude.
don't like it. I like holding the microphone. It's kind of like a crutch.
Right,
Like,
right.
You got that. Even if the microphone doesn't work, like it's still nice to have it.
Yeah, it's like that smoker that quit, but then they still have a thing. in their hand.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
Or the guy that has the sex change and he's like, oh yeah. Forgot about that.
Whoops. Oh yeah.
Whoopsie doodle.
Oopsie doodle. So you back in town? You were doing a show? You did? A
Yeah,
show?
I did I was supposed to do a show in Alamogordo last night, but I got pushed back for November. So,
Oh.
but then I decided to do a show here in town.
Is Alamogordo like a hotbed for comedy? Because like I've heard a couple shows. Like,
I
pop out of there.
done.
They do one every couple months. It seems like.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Are you doing the one at the country club? Is it the
I
same
don't
one
even
I
know what
did?
the venue is.
Oh.
It's the same guy. Yeah.
You just like drive up and you're like country club.
No.
Fuck. All right.
I did when I went, and then it was fine. It was a good
Yeah.
crowd, but I mean, anytime you pull up to somewhere where you don't feel like you fit in,
Oh yeah.
I think as a comedian that's so scary because you're like, I'm about to tell jokes about my real life, and you're not gonna get it at all.
Also, I'm poor.
And there's
It's
Oh,
opposite of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've done the Air Force Base there a couple times. That was a lot of fun.
Holloman,
Those are good
right?
shows,
Holloman?
yeah.
Yeah. My
Yeah.
parents live like 17 miles from there. So
Oh, really?
They live in Cloudcroft. So,
Oh, cool.
So you know the I guess the mountainous part of Alamogordo.
Oh yeah.
They're all we like to live in the mountain part. It's weird because like you drive down Alamogordo and it's fucking gross and flat
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
desolate.
Hey,
And
how
then-
dare you? They have that sculpture of a
They
pistachio.
have a big pistachio,
It's the world's largest.
which I don't get because it's not a real pistachio, so it's really not the world's largest. It's the world's largest representation of a pistachio, right?
According to them,
Right.
There
Yeah,
might
they don't
actually be a
know.
larger one.
There
I
might
bet
be.
someone's got one in their garage or something. They don't even know it's the
In the
largest
basement,
one.
trapped.
Can we just talk about who would have a world's largest pistachio nut in their garage? Like, what purpose would that serve? Just,
Why not?
I'm going to make a huge pistachio
You know
Yeah.
what
nut.
people are.
True.
You
Fair.
know what? If I was rich, I'd do that. Just upstage Alamogordo. I'd be all, "Nah, that's not true."
We
'cause
should
I have
totally
one
do
in
that.
my
Let's start a
backyard."
Kickstarter or something and do it.
Well, like
Fuck you, Alamogordo.
you're driving in this desolate shithole, and then like you turn left and go 17 miles, and then it's like this beautiful like mountain paradise.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then you can't breathe because it's like 9,000 feet elevation. You're like, I'm lightheaded. Let's drink.
Let's have one beer. Whoa.
Whoa.
Oh, Kurt, Benny Martinez just
Benny
started
Martinez.
watching. Hi,
Cool.
Benny.
Benny's a good dude.
He's a sweetie pie.
Benny Martinez. Do you guys know Benny?
No.
He's a radio DJ.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He also he used to host at the stage. He was the host of all the
Oh.
comedy shows there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Super nice guy.
Someone's coming like to the stage. I was like, oh, what is her name?
Nikki Glaser.
Nikki Glazer.
Yep. She was here this weekend.
Oh, just checking it out or what?
No, she performed.
So never mind. So there was someone on the stage. I don't get out on the freeway much anymore. So I was like, I had to take a drive to Rio Rancho yesterday, and so I saw all these billboards, and I was like, oh wow. So I live downtown, and I just kind of stay here, and I work at the base. So I don't really go to that part of Albuquerque anymore. So then I'll drive, and I'll be all, wow, Paseo looks different.
I'm lucky because the stage billboard is
Yeah.
right on my way home. So I
cool.
always see who's at the stage. I was excited about Nikki Glaser, though.
Yeah. I just saw, I just listened to some of her stuff recently, and I was like, oh, wow, she's pretty good. And attractive. So I
She's
was like,
very
and
attractive.
attractive. Yeah, I was watching what was it? Episode of Rogan, and her and Rogan were talking about how Ari Shafar
Okay. I had to look up who that was. I was like,
he put Molly in God, what's the guy's name? There's another Your Mama's House podcast.
Oh,
This is very
I
podcast
know
inside.
exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, like him and his
shoot.
God, what is his name? Anyway, Ari
Damn it,
Shafar.
I know his name.
They did a
I
show
know.
together, and he put Molly in his drink, and
Oh my God.
he didn't know it.
Oh, that's
and
funny.
she's like, well, I want Ari Shafar to put Molly in my drink, but I not know it. And Joe was like, no. And I don't know. I just thought that was really that's how I knew hers was.
I feel like that would be the best way to do Molly, is just to not know you're doing Molly.
that sounds,
Is that a drug?
That sounds
Yes,
great.
it's a drug.
Yeah.
It's a MDMA
Jesus.
It's
cut
MDMA.
with caffeine.
Yep.
Man, I don't know much about drugs, I guess.
I had a friend that used to do that to me all the time.
Wow.
I'd be
All
all-
the time.
All the time. I'd be like, why is there dirt in my beer? Oh my God. Did you put mescaline in my beer again?
Tom Segura. That's what I was trying to think of.
Tom
Oh, yeah,
Segura.
Yeah.
His wife did a comedy special pregnant, and that was great. I
Oh,
can't
yeah?
remember her name right now, but it was hilarious.
Well,
I
she's
love
angry
Tom
at Ari
Segura.
Shafar because he dosed Tom. So yeah, that was the conversation on that. I was
That's
like, oh.
hilarious.
Ari is so funny. Did you guys ever see The Amazing Racist?
I did. I remember those back in
Yes.
the day. That guy's pretty insane.
Yeah.
He's insane. He's an insane genius, I
Yeah.
feel like.
And then he was all part of that Carlos Mencia,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Joe Rogan thing. Yeah. Then I don't know if you I get a lot of time at work, so I watch all these podcasts. And then oh God, what is his name from Mad TV? The Asian guy. I'm having trouble.
Bobby Lee?
Bobby Lee. He thought Bobby Lee ruined his relationship, and so he would like just beat the shit out of Bobby Lee. He would see him and just beat the shit out of him.
Oh,
Oh
wow.
my
There's
God.
a whole like podcast where he tells the whole story and how he was like just bleeding and laying on the ground, and because Ari had just beating the shit out of him. It's like
Wow.
crazy stories.
Wow.
You guys are crazy people.
Wow.
Comics.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
a lot.
no,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
are
yeah, for sure.
and none of us will deny that. We're
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
crazy. Like you have to be just a little bit crazy to agree to do this
Uh-huh.
career path.
I'm pretty sure that's true with all like entertainment.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
Because
sure.
I was a professional dancer for a couple decades, and I'm talking like, where's the dressing room? Nowhere. All right, I'll hold up the sheet while everyone gets naked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, so Smiley hung out with me and a few comedians one night, and
Oh, wow.
he was like, "You guys are depressed."
I never. I was like,
Yeah,
I'm
I'll
not
hold
doing
up the
that
sheet
again.
while you do cocaine.
yeah, he's all,
Yeah. Right.
It's like, you want to come to the bar after the open mic? I'm like, sure, that sounds like fun. Then I was like,
let me hold up the sheet
doing
while
that
you talk
again.
about your parental issues.
And I think like the highlight was somebody was talking about, we were all talking about our worst bombs. And you know this conversation. We all have this conversation like, I don't know, a few times a year.
Yeah.
Where it's like, what was the worst bomb you ever had? And to us, it's not devastating.
No.
It's just, it's kind of funny and it for us, like, I enjoy a good bomb sometimes where it humbles you and you have to, like, think about things. But I guess to, like, somebody who's not a comedian would be like, why are you guys talking about this right now? And somebody talked about bombing on an airplane. And
Wow.
I just remember thinking, like, oh, poor Smiley. Like, he's having to listen to this right now.
That reminds me, you said bombing on an airplane. So I was at the Somos, I meant to tell this last week. I was at the Somos Albuquerque, whatever, the big festival that they have like at the City Plaza. This DJ gets up there, and I'm really shocked that this didn't cause any issues. This DJ gets up there, he's up on Civic Plaza, main stage, and he's testing out his equipment. So what sound does he use to test out his equipment? Machine gun fire.
Oh my God. Man. Why would you do that? That would be terrifying if you had no idea what was going on.
Any other city, people would have like flipped out. Here, they're just like, machine gun fire.
Well,
if I ignore it, I'm sure it'll go away.
People
it doesn't sound close. Nobody's screaming. I'm good.
And I'm just like, yeah, dude, a good idea. Machine gun fire at a festival this day and age. Good idea.
Brilliant.
You just unconsciously count it off in your head. Have a clip.
Have a clip, huh? See if they reload. See what the other gun sounds like. Oh, that's probably 9. That sounds 9mm? 9mm? Maybe. We'll see.
That sounds like an AK.
Make speculations with your friends. What do you think?
Yeah. So So you guys threw out some things before the show. So what's the Arby's story?
Oh, you want to start this one, Holly?
Okay. So right before the first time I went on the road with a bunch of comedians. Maybe not the first time. Maybe like the second time.
It was like a really long trip, though.
Yeah,
it was like, because we went to Denver and South Dakota.
Yeah, it was. So Royal Wood was in the car as well, and he can attest to the story. We're driving up to Denver. We were first going to Denver to do a couple of shows, and I had just gotten out of a divorce. I needed a job. I wanted to not live with my parents anymore. And I had applied to a bunch of jobs. So I applied to Arby's.
Oh.
And while we're on our way to Denver.
You know life is kicking you in the dick when you apply at Arby's when you're not 16.
Yeah. And just maybe you're just like a foodie that wants that free Arby's sauce.
I don't know. I'm getting a job
I think you could probably just show up and be like, can I get some free Arby's sauce?
Yeah. I'm like, sure. That horsey sauce, please.
I need some horsey sauce. So I'm in a car full of comedians, and I get an email from Arby's that I was not being hired.
Arby's. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah. Hold on. Arby's literally did the follow up. Yeah. Dear Holly, we regret to inform you that you were not chosen as an Arby's sandwich maker.
Yes. And so I decided to vocalize this in a car full of comedians. And so what ends up happening, and I think Don Morgan is still watching. We get up to Colorado, and we're staying with our friend Don Morgan, and he hears about this, and I was like, there was a point in the weekend where I was like, I don't want to hear the word Arby's any fucking more. So we go into dispensary, and they have a thing about bees, and I just hear Don Morgan go, hey, Holly, are bees going extinct? And it became a thing.
Yeah. And that just started the whole thing for the whole weekend.
Curt, do you want to say what happened? Maybe it was like the first night we were there, the second night we were there, when I got real drunk? I think it was like maybe the second night. Because we were there, I know we were there on a Wednesday. This happened on a Friday where Holly was pretty liquored up. We went to this open mic, and it was like at 6 o'clock. And it was at this bar in Denver. They're having a speed dating event during the open mic, which is Curt
hilarious.
Royal and I put tags on.
Wow.
It was It was crazy.
So there are some characters there. And then she gets pretty wasted, and so I don't remember how I ended up with her phone, but like I knew her passcode and stuff like that, so I went into her phone, and first of all, I think I took a picture of Don Morgan's butt and then uploaded it to your Twitter.
And you tweeted it, yeah.
And then I went and found my name in her contact list, and I changed my name to Arby's, and then gave her phone back. And then so we were at this little pizza place like an hour or so later, and she's totally fucked up. And so
Oh man.
I went outside and I called her phone. So she's getting a phone call from Arby's. And she's like, what the fuck? Like, why is Arby's calling me? So she answers, and I was like, hey, this is Steve from Arby's. Just making sure you got the email that we're not going to hire you.
He didn't even. Oh man, I think it would be like reconsidered, and I mean, Meattober's coming up.
No, and so the
And it
best
was like
part.
Friday night at like 11 o'clock or midnight.
So the best part is I hang up. I remember this. I hang up and I'm like, Kurt.
Oh my god.
Arby's just called. They wanted like they didn't have to make it so bad. Like they already sent me an email.
He's all. We also sent you something in the mail. If you could post that on the front of your house for 30 days, that'd be great.
Oh my gosh.
You're like, Arby's doesn't fuck around with their hiring.
I know. I was so upset. And like the best part is I was so wasted that I didn't recognize my best friend's fucking voice.
I can do some pretty good voices.
Well, but I mean, it came up as Arby's.
Yeah.
It did.
Yeah.
Well, and then I was like, wow, that's some advanced technology. Like it just comes up as Arby's.
No. Okay, so back then that wasn't a thing. It is now.
It is now.
Yeah.
Have you seen this thing now where like people will like text message you and it's all maybe Karen?
Oh,
It
yeah.
says maybe.
Yeah.
Karen. And like, so I was in Vegas for work, and the hotel has my phone number, and I check in, and as soon as I get up to the room, I get a text, and it says maybe Cheryl. And she's like, just wanted to see if you got in your room okay, and everything was good. And it was like the lady downstairs. And I was like, maybe Cheryl? What the fuck is this?
That's awesome.
It's fucking creepy.
I don't
Yeah.
know. People act like that's a new thing. I'm like, I used to have a landline that did the same thing. I'm like,
Right.
oh, I don't want to talk to that person.
Yeah, but this is a little more advanced. Yeah. I remember whenever like Facebook for the first time, someone took a photo of us all and put it on Facebook and then didn't tag it, and it automatically tagged us.
Yeah.
I was just like,
Oh yeah, I hated that.
I don't know why. I love that shit, and people get so flipped about it, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. But that is pretty awesome, though. I was like, this is Steve from
Oh, I was so upset, and then
She's so drunk, so I knew I could fuck with her.
Oh God! And then let's see. You
Plus,
know
you
what?
already had it in the works. Like, you did some
Oh,
groundwork.
yeah.
Oh
for
my
sure.
gosh!
You're all,
He's-
and in the
Yeah,
future,
as soon as
totally
I
gonna
thought
mess
of that, I was like, all right, we got to wait for the perfect time to do that.
We're actually going to not let you work at any Arby's, so don't apply. to
Ever.
any
Don't
Arby's.
even apply. You've been banned.
Yeah, we're pretty tight with KFC too, so don't even try that.
So there was a time also. I just want to bring this up because, like, the best friends in your life you can have are the ones that maybe sometimes you're a little bit of an asshole to each other,
Of course.
but you still love each other.
Yeah.
And Kurt and I definitely have that. So me,
Because I'm not an asshole in real life, so
No,
it's
no.
nice to be an asshole.
sometimes
friends,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So a few years ago, Kevin, Baca, Royal, and I, and Nicholas Starr, and I don't know who all was involved in it, but we used to play the dick slapping game, where you would just like tap like the other person's,
Oh, yeah.
you know,
Just walk up
dick,
and go, hey, check this
I
out.
hate
Yeah.
Pow, hit him on the dick.
and
That's a game?
Yeah.
I thought just.
I don't know if
that's
it's a game. It's just a dick thing to do.
It is, yeah.
I was just saying that. I
So-
thought that's just what like me and my brother do to each other.
Yeah.
So-
Hey, did you see that thing on there? Pow. Like,
Yes.
Yeah.
exactly, it was like that, and
What's the capital?
It's like a
of
magic
Thailand?
trick.
Thank
Thank
God.
God.
Yeah.
So, here's the thing, Kurt. I'm sorry to say this on a podcast. I hope your mom is watching.
She's not.
The thing about Kurt is his balls are really sensitive.
They're so sensitive.
They're so sensitive.
Oh, so
like
balls.
They're crying
he
right
will
now.
go over a speed bump when we're on the road. Like as a matter of
Oh.
fact, on our way to the Montrose gig, he went
Really
over a
sensitive.
speed bump
Oh, yeah.
and he was like, "Ow!" And it was his balls.
Ow, my balls.
And I didn't know that about him because, like, I don't really interact with his balls
Yeah, don't
very
post
often.
that on Facebook.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, now everybody knows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has like a medical alert. bracelet.
My balls are
They're like,
sensitive.
why are you down, sir?
What if you get a
And you're all-
handicap placard?
You just show them your wrist. They go, oh, balls.
Oh, balls.
That's probably because I sat on my balls so many times delivering pizza.
Probably.
Just going in and out of my car and just sitting on my balls.
Probably. I mean,
Also
Fair.
does not seem right.
Well, and I
either.
like how you said that. You're like, he has really sensitive balls, and I was like, they're all sensitive.
I know,
Just
but
raise
like
it.
his are like
Ultra.
sensitive. So I would play this game. He came. We went to the
Oh.
open mic. We're walking to Bert's, and I went to like smack his balls, and he walked into it, and I hit him really
You
hard.
got a
He-
solid hit.
He bends over just a little bit, and then he goes, "You cunt."
I did.
And
I said the
he
C word.
never says, like, he's never mean. He's such a sweet person. But that day, and then he goes, "I'm so sorry. Just you hit me in the balls." And I can't. So we're walking back from Bert's to our cars. And
I still have a pain like right here from that day.
yeah, well, my asshole is still stretched out, all right?
Well, that's not
So
for me.
it is. So we're walking back to the cars, and he goes to kick me in the ass cheek, and I moved, and his shoe went up my asshole. I kid you not.
Ow.
Like, it hurt so bad, and I bent over, and I said, "You couldn't." And
That was in there a good 2 inches probably.
it was rough. It hurt really bad,
Big
and
toe.
I still argue that was more painful than me swatting your balls.
I don't think so.
I think it was.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure.
Should we find out at the end of the podcast?
I mean, I'll slap your balls all day, but you good luck trying to kick my asshole again, because that's not gonna happen.
you don't know that.
She wears
It's all
asshole
stretched out
blockers now. She wears, she's got special panty liners.
Oh my gosh! So this is our friendship, guys. This is
Well, I
Yeah.
was going to say, medically, if you get kicked in the nuts, it does elevate your heart rate to a very, very unsafe level.
Yeah,
Oh,
and,
yeah,
and I've seen people throw up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it can actually cause a heart attack if you're old enough.
Great.
Man.
Good
Gonna
to
have to protect
know.
That's why they teach it in self-defense.
Yeah.
Kick them in the balls.
That's like the first thing you always learn. They're always like, yeah. It does, yeah. Fair.
fair. I guess I didn't hit you hard enough. You didn't have a heart attack. So,
That's good.
I mean, is it?
That's a positive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the silver lining.
Huh. He's
Thanks,
like,
Holly.
I
You're
guess.
welcome, Chris, Kurt.
Kurt.
Chris.
Wow. She wants to kick me in the balls.
Goodness, that was a
I'm
Freudian
next.
slip
I'm
if I
next.
ever.
We'll have to wear cups in this household. now?
Yeah.
I'm going to go get one after the show.
Oh, I just want to throw this out there real quick. So there's a couple things that have been happening downtown recently. So I want to make people aware.
Stabbings.
No.
I'm kidding.
No. So there's been
said recently.
two different people where so there's a young woman and two young men, and they walk around in a group, and they'll walk up to a woman.
Oh, yeah.
And pepper spray her in the face, and then
And
steal her purse.
purse. Yep.
So I just want to
What
make
the
people
fuck?
I want
Yep.
to make people aware of that. It's happening downtown. I was like,
There's a couple
Wow.
of people that this has
That's
happened
somehow
to.
worse
now.
than a stabbing.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
like
I bet there's a male cop on the police force who's like, I'll go undercover and dress like a woman, and I'll stop him.
I can't wait to see that. I can't wait to see the drunk guys downtown. They're like, look at her. Ooh,
Look at this lady. She's about 6'3".
I can't wait to
Solid
hear.
Adam's apple.
I can't wait until that cop is like, I got catcalled so much, and I don't know what to do. Because that's what we all go through
Yeah.
every night downtown.
Well, and it really irks the shit out of me because that happened to a friend of mine.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, holy shit, you know? And it's a weird, it's like, that's a weird crime right
Like,
there.
why
That's
would
super
you
weird, yeah.
pepper spray somebody, and then steal their purse?
Just
I
walk
mean,
up with the pepper spray and go, I'm going to hit you right in the eyes.
Yeah.
And you'll give me the purse. Be like,
Yeah, yeah,
Here.
Here you go, I'm cool,
Yeah.
man. I don't want to
Yeah, work out some kind of a deal, you know?
Yeah, man, let's, we don't have to go all the way to the pepper spray, you know?
Yeah.
yeah, just threaten it. I'll
Yeah.
give you my shit.
Yeah, and
Here.
you'll save so much pepper spray.
It's
Right.
true.
Right.
Where's their
Like,
overhead coming
you won't
from
need as
there?
many purses.
Right? Where, like, and it's like a one-use product, right?
Yeah.
So we got to think, like, they got to go, well, we got to take this money we just
These
got
people
and
are just
go buy
bad
some more pepper.
financially.
Yeah. Go buy some more pepper spray.
We should find them and just sit them down and be like, you're using a lot of pepper spray, and that adds
Yeah.
up.
See, your business model is
Do
flawed.
you still have that microphone? I'll put that on at the airport. Pepper spray is not cheap, guys. Fear is free. You know? See, I'm moving. So that's
You
the
can
thing.
take your empty pepper canister and just threaten someone with it. They don't
so
know.
we're actually moving this studio downtown. So like I'm moving downtown.
So you
So-
guys are gonna walk me to my car and stuff, right? Because
Well, I would hope you'd park it out front.
I mean, who knows though?
It's-
Even
Have
just
you seen
walking
the
out
place?
front. Oh yeah, no, it'll be fine.
You're gonna be like
A block away from.
No. 5 feet from the door.
Yeah.
Oh,
You'll be
okay.
closer than there. Yeah.
Okay,
It's
okay.
fully lit. There's a fully lit parking lot across the street. Fully lit.
Well,
front
it's
door.
also fully lit. I was there last night, trying to
Yeah.
sleep, and it was fully lit
It
somewhere
is.
in the neighborhood.
All the way around.
And I was like, oh, here we go.
There's a bus stop with a security camera on it, like 20 feet away from his house.
Okay, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm usually not afraid to be downtown, but I did get robbed at gunpoint. I've
That's
talked
true.
about it on the podcast before.
Oh yeah.
And I think just I've spent so much of my life the last 4 years downtown that I don't even think about it. I was kind of
Right.
just like immune to like if somebody ran up behind me, I'm just like, well, it's downtown.
Elbow them right in the face.
You know,
Steal their money.
I'll take your money,
Just
bitch.
ball tap 'em.
It just
Oh, sack tap, bitch. So
She's all-
you don't live here anymore. Do you actually have like a residence anywhere?
I'm actually moving to Denver next week.
Oh,
So, but I mean, while you've been doing all this touring, did you actually? I mean, you had to have. Some
Yeah,
sort of-
I was living in Tulsa for a little while,
Oh,
and then I stayed in Iowa for a little bit. With
is
my
Tulsa
cousin.
a rough city? Because I've heard stories.
No.
Okay, because I had. This is a crazy story. So I had friends that lived in Tulsa when I was in college, and they moved back where I lived because these guys kicked the door into their house, and they all had ski masks on, held them at gunpoint, taped them up, peed on them. Then
Oh my God.
Then took their ATM cards and went to the ATM with one of them, and then called and had everyone give their code over the phone while they stole their money.
It seems like the urination's
Jesus.
unnecessary.
yeah. I
that's
mean,
what
why
they-
are you gonna pee on somebody?
Well, I mean, you got to go. You don't want to,
Again, I
leave
mean,
the guys.
That's you're just leaving evidence behind.
It's true. It's true.
Just sloppy.
But that was in
business
Tulsa.
model here.
Oh wow, that's
And I've
pretty
never
wild.
heard of anything that bad here ever.
I've never heard of anybody getting peed on.
Yeah, well, when I was in Tulsa, like, I never heard of anything bad happening at all.
Oh wow.
You know,
Was it? How big is Tulsa?
it's a pretty good size, probably a couple 100,000.
Okay. Why did you choose to live there? Just.
My girlfriend at the time was there.
Oh, okay.
Oh, are
Yeah.
you not? This is breaking news to your best friend.
He's like,
Are you not?
He's giving you that face like, let's not talk about this right now.
Okay, fair.
Commercial
We'll-
break, everybody.
We'll talk about it
Technical
later.
difficulties.
We'll talk about it later.
That
All right.
studio's on fire.
Oh no! Home invasion.
So you moving to Denver, huh? I mean, there's
Yeah.
I mean, we did the Trinidad Festival and we met lots of Denver comedians.
Oh, cool.
So it's
Yeah.
it's quite the. I mean, they must really have a great scene up there because now
Oh,
like
yeah.
us
It
fans-
is. It's amazing.
And I've heard stories about it. What is it? The Comedy Works.
There's Comedy Works. There's an improv there.
There's also that
stuff.
place that we love in Colorado Springs.
Loonies.
Loonies.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm doing that club Friday and Saturday.
Nice. High five.
Yes.
Proud of you.
Where's your go-to place? Like, where's the place you go and you get the best crowd and you're like, yeah,
Yeah, I love Tucson. Tucson's
nice.
always like awesome.
Really?
I
Yeah.
lived there for 1 year.
That's
really?
that's Stanhope country.
Yep, I actually did a show at Stanhope earlier this year.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
he's amazing.
Oh, he's great.
And like
He was pissed at me because he was hosting the show, and like I thought I was going last because I was headlining it, but the way they did the show was like they would just draw names out of a hat.
Oh.
And I was out back talking to somebody, and he called my name up, and I was like, "Shit!"
Ooh.
Someone's like, "Hey, he just called your name," and it's like, "Oh, thought I was going last."
Oh shit.
So then he brought someone else up, and then he brings me up after him, and
they chew your ass.
no, he saw me perform, and he was like, "All right, you earned my respect." I was like, "All right, cool."
Because I could imagine him like just fucking shredding into you.
Yeah. He's super nice.
Is he really? 'Cause
Yeah, super
his
nice guy.
comedy's so like.
Yeah.
Well, that's the
but
thing,
he's
though.
Super fucking cool to
Like-
comics and stuff.
That's how he gets it out. It's the
Yeah.
same way, like
That is what it seems like. Yeah.
Yeah.
it's,
for
it's,
sure.
It's the same way how like servers and bartenders have to be nice
Yeah.
all day, and then they just spew venom afterward.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
It just all.
Why
has
do
to
you
come
think
out
I'm a
somewhere.
comedian? I'm so nice all day, and then I just.
All day.
But I think, like, to a certain degree, a lot of comedians I know, especially comedians like Doug Stanhope or Louis Black, I would assume, probably, just, yeah, It's like that's like almost a persona. I have a persona when I go on stage.
Sure,
Yeah. I think everybody does. It's like a different version of themselves.
Yeah,
Kinda,
it's still you, but it's like so exaggerated. And my favorite thing is when people assume that that's who I am. So if you've ever seen my comedy, I talk about having sex a lot. I talk about being drunk a lot. I talk about, just all those things.
Arby's.
And when I was single, it was like men would come up and they would ask me on dates, and I would go on a date. And if they had seen my comedy before, they would assume that I was a certain way. And I wasn't, because that's an exaggerated version of myself. I am not, yes. And it's kind of confusing because I'm not a completely different human. I'm just a little bit more dramatic than I would be. Are you that way? Because the thing about you is your jokes are a little different than mine. Mine are all like my life as a person.
Yeah.
Yours are a little...
Yeah, mine are a little different. Mine are like one-liner style and stuff like that, like jokey jokes.
Jokey jokes.
So, yeah. It's still like a character,
do you feel like you have a character?
Yeah, for sure.
Do you ever get annoyed when somebody assumes you are that character? Just out of curiosity.
I don't think I've ever had anyone really...
I'll tell you, I'm annoyed with your stage character.
Oh.
No, I'm just kidding. I mean, I'm not really annoyed, but my favorite thing is people know that me and Curt are good friends, and they will see him perform, and they'll meet him, and they're like, oh, he's like the nicest person ever, which Curt is very nice as a person, but he sometimes, like when he kicks me in the butthole, can be just not an asshole, but I mean... he'll tell you like it is. Like, I've had a couple of shows where Curt is like, what the fuck was that?
Damn.
Yeah, like, and I think maybe because he's my mentor, so he kind of, like, has a little bit more invested in it. Like, he'll, like, literally, I used to have this joke. Oh, man, Kurt's gonna love this. I used to have this joke. It was my serial killer joke, and I love it. It is a very
for certain audiences.
Right. It's a really well written joke. It's a well crafted joke, but it doesn't work. And we were in South Dakota, and I went on stage, and Curt had already told me, like, you need to kill that baby. Like, that joke needs to go. Like, that joke's not good. And I panicked on stage, and I start the joke, and I'm like, who in here loves serial killers? And I just look in the back of the room, and Curt hung his head.
You're like
just
that grieving mother who's just holding on to the dead baby.
Yes, exactly.
He's just sleeping.
I think I felt him breathe.
Yes, exactly. And Curt, I could see him in the back just hang his head like, why?
And she was closing with it, too.
I closed with it. It was my closer. And I come off stage. It wasn't good. It was not good. And I come off stage, and Kurt's like, the fuck was that?
Oh.
And he was like, why would you close with that? Like, if you want to use that in the middle, I guess. But also, like, stop. It's not funny. Nobody likes it.
What is wrong with you?
So that's a lesson that I learned from Curt. But it's so funny because I think, like, when you love somebody and you care about somebody and you're helping them with their career, you're a little bit harder on them than you would be other people. And so everybody has this impression of Curt that he's this, like, huge sweetheart, which he is. He's a very sweet person. And they're like, that must be nice to have him as a mentor. I bet he's so nice. And I'm like, I mean, he is, but also, like, if you fuck up in front of him when he took you on tour, like, you just wait for that. You're not going to feel good.
How dare you?
I just wait for it.
You walk back in the dressing room, the lights are all off, and he just has a towel over his head, and he's just like,
yeah.
You're like, Curt? He's like, how dare you?
Or he's holding up the towel.
You've got a lot of nerve.
I mean, it's never mean-spirited. I want to make that clear. It's never mean-spirited. He's always like, you could do so much better than that. You're so much funnier than that. Why? So it's just
I would
funny.
never do that to the comics I hate. Like, I'll like watch them, and I'll notice like things that they should be doing that they're not, and I won't say anything.
And then you're just like, good job, dude.
Yeah. Keep it up.
And those are the comics that are like, it must be so nice to have Curt Fletcher as a friend. He's so nice. And I'm like, he hates you. That's why.
Nice. He really hates your guts. What?
Yeah.
Nothing? He's great.
He is great. Yeah, but honestly, like, Curt is probably the only reason that I work as hard as I do, because he literally would tell me, hey, like, when I first started, he would go to every open mic that I went to. And he didn't have to. Like, he was at a stage where he didn't have to go to open mics. And you would literally give me notes. He would give me notes. And he would say, this is, you need to work on this and you need to work on that. And I would. And I think you only did that because I listened to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice.
Well, plus,
Yeah,
I
she
mean,
actually took the advice and like she worked like she's always worked her ass off like since she started.
Oh,
like
good.
she's one of the hardest working comedians I've ever seen.
I would respect and fear someone that I knew for a fact could put their foot in my butthole.
Oh, yeah. No, that had a lot to do with it. But see, just when...
Foot ass no.
But, like, when he says stuff like that means a lot, because here in Albuquerque, I mean, Curt is our hero. And not just in Albuquerque. I mean, people love him everywhere. When a comedian comes through town, it's like, I'm just like, oh, have you met Curt Fletcher? And they're like, oh my God, I love Curt Fletcher. Just because I have never seen you bomb. I think I've seen you
I
maybe
should have been in
close
St.
to
Louis
it.
on Sunday.
So,
Ooh.
I've seen you a couple times, and the first time I saw you was at Rio Bravo, upstairs in that loft thing.
Oh, yeah,
which
yeah,
actually is
yeah.
kind of a cool place to
I
do
thought it was a
comedy.
cool place, yeah.
And you kind of actually were the savior of Albuquerque comedy for me, because I remember like the first show I went to was at the Box, and I paid $10 to go, and literally I was finishing some people's jokes.
Oh, really?
And it was bad. It was very bad. And I was like, and so my thing was like, this was like open mic material, and you're charging me for it.
Yeah.
And then I don't want to come back. And
Since a lot of Albuquerque comics will do that. If it's like a paid show, like
Yeah.
do your best fucking material.
Yeah.
And they don't get that, It's like, give them a show. Like, give them your best material. Don't treat it like an open mic.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that bugs me the most is like all these comics will treat every show like an open mic. Like they always
No.
feel like they got to do new material.
Nope.
Whereas I treat every open mic like a show.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is
sure.
what Curt taught me to do, is you give it the same energy. Even if it's new jokes, you give it the same energy you give a real show.
Who was the guy that came to your open mic 3 weeks ago from the Daily Show?
Roy Wood Jr.
Yeah, that dude. I mean, that dude came to an open mic, and his open mic jokes were
Dope.
fucking amazing.
Dope.
I was like, gee, he told a Street Fighter joke that I still.
Oh no,
like,
it's great.
kills me.
He's
That guy's
great.
amazing.
He's amazing, and he was so sweet. And the thing that made me so happy is that he literally did my open mic, came up to me in Royal and said, "This is amazing for a Monday open mic." He said,
yeah.
"You guys are doing amazing. I would love this open mic if I had this every Monday."
Yeah.
And that felt good.
That's awesome.
And that doesn't come without work. You know what I
Fuck
mean?
No.
And
Okay.
it's great.
You need to expand that though.
Yes.
It doesn't come. There's two things: that work
Yes.
and
Networking. Yes.
Yep.
'Cause that's the other part of work.
You know,
yeah.
I think a lot of people ask Royal and I how we've become what we have become. And it's a lot of work, and it's a lot of networking, and it's a lot of shaking hands and making friends.
Oh, tell me about it.
And
A lot of patience too.
A
Like,
lot of
like,
patience.
People try to like just jump into shit like too quick,
Yeah.
or they
Yeah.
think they deserve something too quick.
right.
Well,
And I'm always grateful for Curt. This is why I was so excited. Like, I'm always excited for Curt to be in town because he's my best friend. But more than that, he taught me what it was to be a comedian. And I think everybody needs a Curt in their life. But unfortunately, not everybody has a Curt in their
No.
life. And I was so
Especially
lucky.
my ex-girlfriend.
She deserved it. Hate her. All right. So,
Don't worry, she's not watching. I didn't pay the
oh,
internet
good.
bill.
All right, cool. The thing about Curt is that he literally told me to do comedy. I start doing comedy. I tell him I do it. And then it was just, here's what you need to do. And if I listened to the advice, he would give it to me. But he also told me what not to do, what to be afraid of, and all that stuff. Why did you do that for me? Just out of curiosity.
because you talked about like being a writer and stuff, and you always wanted to do comedy. So I thought it was cool. I was like, I could help her out probably, So I don't know. I just like helping other comics, like
That's cool.
like
so
ones that I
sweet.
see that really want to do it. You know what I mean? Like I love helping them out.
Give a shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like people hit me up all the time. Like people I don't even know sometimes. Like will hit me up and be like, hey, do you have any advice on this? And then, I'll reach out to them and talk to him and stuff. Like the saxophone player for the James Douglas show
Yep.
hit me up recently.
Delmo.
Oh, wow.
Because he wants to do stand up.
Del.
So
yeah.
I've been talking to him about it and
Awesome.
giving him some pointers on what to do and stuff like that.
And I think I inherited that from you as well. Like, I also enjoy, like, when a new comic comes and does an open mic, it's like, oh my gosh, you're so, like, you don't even know what this can be for you.
Uh-huh.
And it's fun. But then it's
Can be.
frustrating.
So I've done this for 13 years.
Oh yeah.
So I get I get the same thing where it's like where I get the out of the blue. I get two things. I get out of the blue, never met you in my entire life,
Uh-huh.
and someone said I should talk to you, or I get a friend that's like, hey, I gave this person your phone number and said
Oh.
you would help them with the
Yeah.
podcast.
Uh-huh.
And for me, it's the same thing because like there's so many podcasts in Albuquerque that have started, gone about 4 months, and
6 months best.
best sputtered out. And it's like, if you don't have the passion for it, you're not going to do it.
yeah.
And so it's the same thing. It's like, it's like, and people are like, well,
You're either going to do it or you're not.
I've heard you don't like when people ask you that anymore. I go, yeah, I don't, because so many people don't have the fire. Here's the deal. If you really want to do this, you'll do it.
Yeah.
And you don't need me to help you.
Right.
There's videos online. You can.
Yeah.
And I think the other thing, and I think this applies to podcasts as well, because now that I do a podcast, I get that
Yeah.
comedy and podcasts are kind of the same in that
It can be. Yeah.
there are people who start out and they're like really into it for a couple of months and then they leave.
Yeah.
And I think that's because it's hard. It's hard work. You're not going to get credit right away, and you're not going to get money. I mean, I've been doing it for 4 years, and still, like, the highest I'm getting paid is $20.
Right.
But I still
that's great,
do
actually.
it because I love it. You know what I mean? It's like I don't do it for the money, and Curt doesn't do it for the money. It's
No, I
like
do.
He does.
He's
okay.
all-
Well, we should
No, I
talk
don't.
about that later then, because okay. But I think that the people who are most successful at podcasts or comedy are the people who are not in it for the
Right.
money and just work really, really, really,
Yeah.
really hard.
I went out to a beer festival yesterday. It's the one. It's the only one in Albuquerque. How many are there in Albuquerque? Shitloads.
A million.
It's the only one I like. And my friend was with me, and I'm talking to someone, and I hand them a sticker, and I hand them a card, and they're like, "Really? You brought stickers and cards?" I go, "Yeah, fuck
Yes,
yeah, I did.
absolutely I
This is
did,
my
yeah.
bread and butter. This is where I
Yeah.
fucking
And buttons. I have.
buttons.
The
I have
nice
buttons.
thing is, yesterday at work, I was working at Hollow Spirits. Somebody brought
Oh,
up.
hold on. Let's tease that story
Okay.
for the second hour because we're right there.
Okay. Perfect.
And this is funny because this is part of it.
Yes, I think it
And
is.
it
if we're
is.
talking about the same person.
And so we're going to tease this for the second hour because we're going to take a break. And that's a perfect story for the
okay.
second hour.
Perfect.
So we have comedian Curt Fletcher on the show, and I don't know if you guys noticed this on the feed. I put your guys' Instagram
Aw,
handles in the corner
thanks.
so that people can add you guys on Instagram.
Cool.
I'm gonna try to start doing that for people that have them.
As he looks
so-
at me.
Well, you don't. I don't think
I know
you
I
do.
don't. No, I don't.
I was like, I'm not gonna put Smiley because even if you did have one,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
So,
barely-
do you guys have anything to promote like coming up? That's
I'm just on the road all the time. I have a website, funnyfletcher.com. You get my album for free on there if you want.
oh damn, really?
Yeah.
Is it one of
And-
those donate whatever you can?
No, it's like on Spotify and stuff
Oh,
like that,
shit.
so you can hear it on there.
And
iTunes and
I
all
will
that.
tell you this album. I was there for the recording. It was
She was.
very
She was
funny.
the host.
You can also hear me
You can
laughing,
hear her laughing
on that album.
Yeah, there's like 20 people there, something like that. It was a
Yeah.
pretty small crowd.
It was a
damn.
it was a
It
good
was cool.
show.
Yeah.
And Holly, we got.
I will be recording my first comedy album
Nice.
in December on December 28th
I have not heard any
at
of this
T
news.
Lab.
Wait
I
a minute,
just-
wait a minute. Hold
I will
on.
be there.
Hold on. Pump the brakes here. Are you telling me that, because I'm recording this, right?
Oh yeah, sorry.
We haven't heard any of this stuff.
I mean, I can hire somebody else.
no, you're not going to
Chris.
hire anybody else.
I just got confirmed. Well, okay, so let me just say
Are you
this.
busy on December 28th?
So let me
Look at my calendar.
let me just say this though. Sometimes venues are difficult to get a hold of.
I know.
And they are difficult to talk to. So I'm nailing it down right now.
Okay.
But
That's
so
fair. I'm free.
December
Wait a
28th,
minute.
I will be recording my first album. It might be another day if Chris isn't available.
I'm available that day.
And apparently Curt will be there. We'll talk
Yeah.
about that then.
I will.
Okay.
And then also every Monday, so tomorrow, you can come to Inside Out. Royal and I have Idiot Revolution. It will keep going at Inside Out until it gets so freezing we're dying. They have
tomorrow.
heaters. They have heaters out there, and then after that, we'll move to a different location.
I have to be honest with you. If that's true,
Sometimes we don't even get winters here. Who
if
knows?
that's
Who
true,
knows?
though,
We don't know.
then you're doing great.
Yeah.
Because they're like, yeah, we're just gonna keep this money train rolling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they got us heaters, and we're going to be
That's fantastic.
trying to
that
heat
means
it.
You're doing good.
Yeah, so they love us over there, so we're excited. And also, if you want to come and get a cocktail from me, please come in to Hollow Spirits Friday and Saturday from 11 to about 5.
Ooh.
I'm there, so I will make you a drink, and I'm thinking about coming up with a 10-drink cocktail.
Ooh.
For
So.
those afternoon drinkers out there.
Dun, 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 dun. We'll have our own cocktail. Well, maybe not after the story she tells. To the mom. So I know that Safe House Distilling wants
Oh,
us to
man.
come back, so we'll see about that. We don't really have anything on the books. We have no more live shows on the books for the rest of the year, which is.
Fine. We're all fine with that.
But I mean, that's not to say if you don't want us to do a live show at whatever place.
It depends how much you're going to pay us. It's fine.
Correct.
At the very
correct.
least, I mean, just give us drink tickets.
But I
Yeah.
do want to announce something.
Ooh.
We are now on Pandora.
We are.
That is
on
correct.
Pandora.
I added that today.
Did you?
Nice.
I haven't even
Awesome.
checked it out. I just know we're there. And it's funny because like people, I said that I got excited about that, and someone's like, "What's so exciting about that?" I was like, "No. What you don't understand
It's
is
the streaming service that almost everyone has.
well,
Yeah.
okay. So the three big ones, iHeartRadio is the big one.
Yeah.
iHeartRadio, Spotify, and Pandora now vet podcasts, which is amazing. I love that.
Right.
Did not know that.
Oh yeah. That's why this is exciting. So I don't even remember when I signed up for the Pandora one. That's how long it's taken.
Wow.
Yeah. Spotify took about 6 months.
I remember-
iHeartRadio was about 3 months, and this one I don't even know. I just got an email they're like, hey, good news, we've accepted you, and I'm like, all right,
You're all, oh yeah.
we've done a good job.
We did
So-
good.
So we're on. I always love that when people go. So where can I listen to your show at?
Everywhere.
The internet.
All the things. Google it.
We're there. So yeah. So go. You said you have. So at comedian Curt Fletcher on Instagram, at Holly Bird Comedy,
Yes.
at 10 Drink Minimum.
Also-
all on Instagram.
Kurt's website, funnyfletcher.com.
Yep, I put videos on there. I've got a rap song that me and my old roommate made about
nice.
10 years ago on there.
Yeah.
It's really stupid.
Interesting.
And then we have a website, 10drinkminimum.com, and we're live most Sundays. I always have to say that. 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on facebook.com/10drink. We definitely drink when we do the show. You should as when you watch. But always remember,
Never get too drunk to jerk 10drinkminimum.com.
Whoa. Did you guys plan that?
I stand to tell the road I am found. All over town, in a cold, dry portion of the desert. towers a layer. No. Towers a layer, not here was stay. On appearance of souls by subjects, steal your thumb. Don't you come this way. What's the use of fire if you can't burn a sea for all to climb? My fate was not the same as everyone is slave. Your friends turn fickle, you're to blame. The envy veers to jeers as the glass they throw it break. Walk this way, was I that incommodious? Can I plead to keep my head? My fate is not the same as everyone I slay. The crowd, didn't say your prayers. You were the king who walked on shards of jars that held your people's fate. Now here is my mind will be clear before my head rolls. Now here is my mind will be clear before my head rolls. Chop. For all the years that I kept away strong, there was no use crawling to the dust. I'm speaking of wishes, more than days, they can be better. Don't assume mine, I'm just way high. The world's apart and I wanted to save a portion for us. What could be better? How do you do that? To replace all, I'm back to my dream started. What day next to your skin? was way high, the world's apart, and I wanted to save a portion for us. What could be better? How do you do that? Took the place on, I'm back to my dream started. One day next to your skin, I'll chase it all, chase it all. You hear that sound? It's the sound of you taking me back. If I say no, that look is my own. But Patton said, for an asshole right in the yes. Come on, just a slice of what we had. Just the same, but you'll rather be a con, a ghost floating in a maze of mind demise. Had to set for a second time machine and take me to the dawn of when we met. Chase it all. You hear that sound? It's the sound of you taking me back. Your eyes say no, that look is my own. Prepare to send for an asshole right in my ears. Come on, just a slice of what we had.
I sold my soul to the bottle. Still none of my friends have left me yet. I'm the same man I was since the age of 13, and I've lived my life with no regrets. If you're looking for some freedom, all it takes is 10 drinks minimum. If you're looking for rhyme or reason, all it takes is 10 drinks minimum.
We have a theme song.
Welcome to the Wavy Hour. My name is Chris Burnett. This is 10 Drink Minimum. James Smiley is here.
I am here.
He's here.
Holly Ann Bird is here.
I'm
I am
coherent.
here. I'm drinking some Catalina lime mixer.
That's right.
Pow pow!
I'm trying this new drink called Pabst Blue Ribbon.
It's a award winner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
look at
It
that.
won an
And the
award.
ribbon's right there.
Comedian Curt Fletcher, road comedian.
I think
Curt
it's just a
Fletcher is with us.
participant trophy.
Billy, not here.
Are you sure? He's never on camera. He could be here.
He
He's
could
not
be
here.
here. We could.
I bet he's
just
crying
be-
right now because the Cowboys lost to the Jets.
How many shows do we have left in this studio? Actually, let's look that up.
Yeah, let's look that up, Chris.
Okay, so this is October, correct?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
All month long. We have one show left in this studio.
Oh, wow. That is good to know because after
Yep.
that, I might just show up here on the Sunday all.
Yeah, on that
Why is this
scooter.
locked?
On that Scooty Puff, yeah. So this is our second to last show in the Santa Barbara studio. And then I can literally say deep in the heart of downtown.
That is correct.
Ooh,
'Cause
I'm
we will be
excited.
deep in the heart of downtown. Yeah.
Your backyard will basically just be bars.
Can we just
Yep.
rewrite
Yep.
the Deep in the Heart of Texas song for Deep in the Heart of
Deep
Downtown?
in the heart of downtown.
And then you have to clap. You know?
No, you have to spray
No.
pepper spray
No,
sound
No,
effect.
you get the clap.
You get the clap.
It's downtown. So you were telling the Hall of Spirit story. I
Yes.
interrupted. I teased that, and now we're back. Here we are.
All right. So I was bartending at Hall of Spirits yesterday. And like I do every Saturday.
Yeah,
And,
that's your gig. Go say hi.
And this lady came in, and we have a memorial growler.
Drinking scholarship. Oh, sorry.
No, I wish that I would qualify for that every year. But we have a growler that's for somebody that was friends with somebody at the bar. And so we have it up there. It's I believe his name is James Porter or Jacob Porter
Or you drink a porter.
or I don't
This
know.
all sounds very vague.
And she asked me if it was for sale, and I was like, no, it's absolutely not for sale. It's a memorial, and somebody in our bar loves this guy, and it's in memoriam of this guy. And I said, you know what? There is a guy that I know who has the pull in this community to find out where this growler came from. And if he doesn't know where it came from, he can point you in the right direction, maybe. And it got crazier because she said, well, who is this guy anyway? And I said, well, you know what? Actually, message our podcast, 10 Drink Minimum. And she goes, I've been drinking your beer all day at Dialogue.
At Dialogue. Fantastic.
That's awesome.
The 10 drink minimum brown ale.
And I loved it. That's you? And I said, yes, that's me. And
us.
that's our podcast. And my co-host made that beer at Dialogue. And she said, oh, we've been drinking it all day. It was so good. We loved it. And I said, look, here's the deal. I'm not promising you that Chris will know how to get a hold of a growler like this, but he might know who to get a hold of, because I don't know. And so did she message you?
No.
She
What an
didn't?
asshole. And if she did, I'd be like, who the fuck is this person? No, I mean, was it a metal growler or is it a glass growler?
It's a glass growler. It's
I have
just a
really-
regular growler.
I have a couple really fancy ones that have like the Grolsch. You ever drink Grolsch beer?
Yeah.
Grolsch has like this weird top that's ceramic.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It pops. I have a couple of those up there. Was it like that fancy?
No, it's not a fancy growler. It's a memorial growler for a person.
No, I don't know.
And
that.
so
his
I
ashes
thought,
You guys,
In
like,
the
is there,
growler?
is there someone
No.
in the growler?
no,
That's
there's a
called an urn.
picture. No, there's a picture of the guy on there, and his name.
Oh.
And,
Maybe his
I
body.
thought, yeah, I mean, who knows? But I told her, I was like, look, here's the deal.
This is not the story I was expecting, but it's good.
If
I like it.
there's somebody who knows how to get a hold of a weird growler, it'll be Chris Burdett.
Well, I mean, you can get them etched anywhere.
I mean, yeah, sure. But so anyway, it led to a whole discussion, and then the weirdness really happened when somebody sitting next to her goes, 10 drink minimum. I see your stickers everywhere. Is that you?
I do tend to
Yeah.
put them up when I'm drunk.
And
Me too.
I'm
yeah.
all, yeah.
and I was like, yeah, that's me. Like, me and my co-host, we're 10 drink minimum, blah, blah, blah. And it just it kind of turned into, like, people sitting at the bar were like, oh, you have a podcast. What is that about? So I gave stickers to everybody.
Nice. Yeah, nice.
And which is fine. I'm fine with it. But it was just such a weird start to my day.
But then someone texted you. That's the story I was talking about. Like
Texted me.
they were like, is Chris mad at? Is Chris?
Oh,
you told this whole
that's
story.
a whole other thing. Okay.
What story were you talking
So
about?
here's the thing. yesterday was a big day at Hollow Spirits. We were at a lot of events. So here's the other thing. I didn't know. I thought that lady had messaged you. That's why I was excited. Okay. All right, here we go. I'm on a whole other page now. So, also, same day, yesterday, Hollow Spirits was at New Mexico Beer Fest, which is a beer fest.
My favorite beer festival.
I mean, apparently, unless Hollow Spirits is there, and then you hate us. So I got texted from a couple of people that work for us, with us all the time, and they're very excited that I work there because 10 Drink Minimum, they are huge fans of us at Hollow Spirits.
Whoops.
Probably the only reason I got the job. And literally, they text me and they're like, "What's wrong with Chris?" I was like, I don't know. Lots of things are wrong with Chris. What do you mean?
Number one.
And they said that you looked them in the eye and walked away. What is that? Like, just go to the booth. Like, even if it's not people who work for us, just go to the booth, Chris. I work there, for fuck's sake.
Chris is doing this.
So, in my defense...
I don't see a lot of defense here. You couldn't go up and get a sample of Hollow Spirits alcohol?
I didn't know why I would. I was like, I'm at a beer festival. I don't need hard liquor. I've had enough beer. Okay, back up. So
I mean, okay, let me just say this. Like, no matter what you say in your defense, that is the place I work, and you saw a banner for them. You couldn't just walk up and say hello?
Well, I didn't... Okay. To be fair, I didn't recognize any of the people, and I mean, that's me, because I don't remember people. I'm really fucking terrible at that. So I looked over, and I was like, "Oh, there is Hollow Spirits. They're here," and I was like, "I don't know who."
Did you point at them too?
Okay, so also the person working at the booth is my friend Alex, who does all my photography. You've met him like 10 times, but also
I still would, like, if he walked up to the door and knocked, I wouldn't know.
Can we make a deal right now? Can we just make a deal that from now on, when I work somewhere, and they are at a festival, you'll just walk up and say hello.
I will.
Because here's the deal. You are more popular than me.
I'm sorry.
If it wasn't true, they would have had me working the event and been like, Holly, you'll get people to come to the event. No, nobody said that. Everybody was like, hey, Chris ignored us and hates us.
Okay. I honestly
thought... And I know you don't hate us.
I honestly thought that they had hired people to work the event because I looked...
No,
I didn't
see
Frank. I didn't see Tristan.
Frank was in Santa Fe at the other thing.
Sure.
But here's the deal, Chris. Let's just make a deal right now.
Okay.
If
to be fair, Holly,
we're
not used to you having a job.
I know.
Yeah. Hashtag Arby's.
I mean, fair. But when I do have a job, can we support me so I don't lose a job? Thanks.
Yes. And I want to apologize to Hollow Spirits. I looked over and I was like, well, there's Hollow Spirits, and I was like, oh, did they just hire people? Because I've gone up to booths before, and I'm like, hey, you guys work at blah blah blah, and they're like, no, they just hired us for this event, and I'm like, oh, I'll buy a hat.
Yeah, we don't do that. We don't have enough money to do that.
So I mean, like Santa Fe Brewing. I'm friends with like all of the administrative people that work there. I walk by their booth, and the people that work there are just some hired.
That's so weird, right?
Hired like guns and.
Santa Fe.
So I honestly didn't go by there.
Right. I mean,
I didn't say hi to them either.
But also, does your co-host work there?
No.
I mean, to be fair, none of us expected for my coworkers to be like, hey. I saw Chris and like fuck him then.
So I go to Red Door, and Red Door has made this beer.
Oh no! What is the Red? Yeah, it's not great. I will say that right now.
No, it is.
You love it?
Yes.
Here's why I say this.
I like it.
Jason had a plan for it, and that plan didn't happen.
Did he make that beer?
He was part of it.
Then I want to shake his hand. That was my favorite beer of the festival yesterday.
But the thing was that his suggestion went ignored.
Oh.
And he kind of wanted you to feel like you're watching Saturday morning cartoons, hit in the face with Captain Crunch, or not Captain Crunch, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, and you just felt that
sack of Captain Crunch, rip your mouth apart. The top of your
Yes.
mouth's all tore up. You have that little dangling.
But he
okay.
felt like there was not enough cinnamon, and he was kind of not
Okay.
happy with that beer.
Okay.
But I'm
It wasn't toasty
All right.
enough.
So
I'm happy to hear that you love it.
So I'm going to say this. I walked up and I saw the sign for it. And I was like, Cinnamon Toast Crunch beer.
Yeah.
This is going to taste like diabetes.
Yes.
And I was like,
And it doesn't.
no.
It's great. It's a great beer.
And it was my favorite beer there that I went back and actually, it was the only
That you went back.
pint I paid for.
Wow.
And
Awesome.
me and my friends all went back and paid for.
Awesome.
And it was fantastic. So I had that, and then I walk over to Palmer and Ray from Palmer.
Oh, Ray. I
So-
love Ray. Hi,
so-
Ray. Love you.
Palmer Brewing, I just want those out there. If I see them at a festival, I will be around that booth a lot. Because everybody goes, oh, here's your sample, and here's your pint glass sample. Palmer's like, yeah, here's your sample. You know?
Yeah.
And I
Well,
got the
Jason's been hanging out with Palmer all day
Oh, man.
in Red River. They were at a festival, so they did that festival and the Red River.
That answers
and
a lot of questions.
Jason was hanging out with them.
Yeah.
What questions does that answer?
Off
want.
mic. Off mic. That'll-
Okay, got it.
When you said you were telling us a story off mic that we can't talk about, and I'm like, Palmer's involved.
Oh no, he was hanging out with them today.
Oh, okay.
Not the other
But
day. It's fine.
they have a beer that's called the MWA, and it's a
it's great.
craft malt liquor. And of course, I got a full one.
Of
So
course
that
you
was
did.
that was all before I got over to the Hollow Spirits booth. So I was.
And you didn't go to the Hollow Spirits booth, so don't act like you went to the Hollow
So
Spirits
then I walk
booth.
over to the Dialogue booth, who are our really good friends, other than Hollow Spirits, and they also host our beer, which is called the Tendering Minimal
Right.
Brown Ale.
One of two people that
Yeah.
have made beers for us.
And so
Two companies now.
I go up there and they have two
Maybe
beers.
we should have Hollow Spirits make us a spirit.
Craft Spirit. Well, so I go over there to Dialogue's booth, and they had like their IPA and then like a Pilsner. And I was like, oh, that's what you guys brought? And she goes, well, I have a hidden stash.
Ooh.
So I brought several people over to the Dialogue booth to have the 10-drink minimum brown ale
Nice.
off the
Nice.
books, by the way.
Nice.
Thank
I mean,
you, Sam
great.
and company for that.
Cool, but you can't even say hi to my coworkers.
I didn't know they were there.
I'm just
All right.
saying
It
you
is kind
have
of
to
hard
be
to see
more
straight
aware.
after you've had one of those Palmer like malt
Right.
ales.
I mean, fair, but also, Chris.
I love Hollow Spirits.
I
love
know, and that was the thing is I was like, no, Chris loves us. Chris
Right,
loves
right.
us. We all love us. Like, stop. So just I want Hollow Spirits to know that Chris
Yeah,
does
yeah.
not hate us.
No, I
he
don't.
Just,
No, I love Hollow Spirits.
He made an error in judgment.
Yeah, I did.
I think we've made that clear.
We
Okay.
made it clear.
Now we'll go back to our guest. We have a guest on the show.
Yeah, we have a guest.
Hi,
Hi,
guys.
Kurt. Kurt's used to my bullshit.
Oh, yeah.
He's gone
So
on
much
the road with me.
shenanigans
Yeah.
with this one.
Sorry.
No,
Oh,
it's
so
alright.
so I like that beer festival so much. This is how much you guys will know. I asked if we could do it next year.
Can
Oh,
we?
sweet.
They said yes.
Awesome.
Nice.
But
Love it.
but if you know me, A, I don't ever want to do those.
I know that's true.
And B,
They're not
I
really
said
not
we
my
wouldn't do
favorite
them
either.
anymore, and I asked them yesterday. I said, "Hey, how come you never let us do these?" To the guy who runs it.
My favorite tank top ever of all time ever is from New Mexico Beer Fest, and
Yeah.
the people who run it used to do a magazine here in Albuquerque.
They've all moved away,
Yes,
but still own it.
Yes, but my ex-boyfriend introduced me to them,
Yeah.
and I don't like my ex-boyfriend. But one of my
Most
oldest
people don't.
friends in the whole world moved to Boise, Idaho. And he met
That's
the
sad.
two
Oh.
people who run New Mexico Beer Fest.
They don't run it. They just own it.
They own it.
Yeah.
They don't run it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's still very local, and they love local.
Yeah.
But the two of the people involved in it, I'll
Correct,
say
correct,
that,
Yeah.
They live in Boise, Idaho,
friend Kyle
and they
runs it.
own a bar in Boise, Idaho, and they're amazing and wonderful.
Oh, okay.
But yes, so they have like a hand in it. I don't know how
they still own it.
They still own it.
They actually came in because this was the 10th anniversary.
Yes.
So my friend Kyle runs it. He's a guy from the Squash Blossom Boys.
Oh, shit.
And
I love the Squash Blossom
He's been running
Boys.
it for like 3 years now. And they flew in just to be here because it was the 10th anniversary. So.
That's cool.
Awesome. But, just my favorite tank top of all time ever is from New Mexico Beer Fest.
But I don't hate all spirits.
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate you.
what
Because
you're saying is
everybody
we're
was
gonna be-
concerned.
We're going to be doing another beer festival,
Yes.
even though we swore them off.
Yes.
Okay.
Great. That sounds fun. That sounds great.
Have you ever done that? You're like, I'm never doing another one of these
All the
things.
time.
Oh,
And you still do them? Like,
Yeah.
I got
What's-
sure.
I'm just
What's,
like, I gotta stop doing these shitty gigs. And somebody emails me like 2 minutes later.
There's
Hey, you want to do
one-
this shitty gig at an Arroyo? Sure.
There's one here in Albuquerque that me and you always say we're never going to work with them again.
Yeah.
And you work with them
Uh-oh.
quite a bit.
And
What's
Holly's
that
just
about?
fucking calling everybody out right and left. She's like, now that we got microphones in front of us, here we go.
Let's
Record it.
do
It's
this.
all, all about stage time.
It is.
Being a
I mean,
whore.
and all of us are addicted. I do it
Yeah.
too. Like, it's fine. I think
It's a good thing I just air all my dirty laundry like this. I'm like, whatever. You don't got to tell me
Oh,
about
I
it.
do have good news, guys.
I talk to
What?
strangers on the street.
Balloon Fiesta ended today.
thank God.
Oh, that
I'm
was
so over
that
it.
happened.
Hated it. Didn't like it. It made me late to work.
Hated it.
Hated
2
it.
days in a row.
Did
Didn't
it.
matter how early I left. It just traffic. Awful. Hate
Let's spray a
it. Not
flamethrower
good.
into a big bag and fly it in the air. I'm just kidding.
It's no wonder that most of those people are drunk, because how else do you think that's a good idea?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. Yes. I got pulled
Kurt's
over.
like, I don't know what show I'm on.
I got pulled over on my way to work on
How do you steer?
Friday.
You don't.
And
Woo!
the cop was like, "Can you step out of the car, ma'am?" And I was like, "Okay." "Have you been drinking?" "It is 9 a.m., sir." And he was like, "It's Balloon Fiesta." That is a thing a cop said.
Oh, wow.
A thing a cop said. And I was like, okay, I understand that, but I'm service industry and I'm on my way to work. Can I call my boss? And he was like, "I need to make sure you're not drunk, ma'am." I'm on my way to work and it is 9 a.m. Balloon Fiesta is a valid excuse, apparently.
Yeah, I know. I mean, have you met balloonists?
Yeah,
I mean,
seriously.
sure, fair.
When you're driving on Alameda to go to Balloon Fiesta Park, they have this big ice machine. You just go up, put your cooler under it, put money in it, and it just fills your fucking ice machine.
It does.
Ice cooler full ice.
Oh, also, just an announcement.
You need that
Kurt's
for ballooning?
sister,
Apparently.
Amy Fletcher, is watching. Hello, Amy Fletcher.
Hey, Amy.
Hey, Amy.
Hello.
I like your buttons a lot.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, wow,
Amy.
we have Thunder, the local pro wrestler Thunder is watching as well.
Hello, Thunder.
So if you guys are interested, I have another Instagram page called Amy Mullet Buttons.
Amy Mullet Buttons.
So my sister,
Did you
who's
bring me
watching
one?
right now, I don't know. I think I gave them all to my family when I was in Iowa, so they could pass them around and take family photos with them.
But I'm
So
fine.
my sister cut her own hair in 3rd grade, a day before picture day, and nobody saw it because my parents would always like leave for work before we got up for school. So she went to school with a mullet on picture day
That
that
is
she gave
awesome.
herself.
Oh,
And
Those are the best
And they
mullets.
didn't get retake pictures or anything.
oh no.
So earlier this year, I decided to make buttons with
Oh,
that
man.
picture on them. And
and I still don't have one.
no, I'll get you
By
one.
the way,
Amy
It's
Mullet
starting to
Buttons.
turn into an expensive prank.
it's
But,
it's grown into a thing. Like people will tag them, and it's a whole thing.
So we've been passing them out to people. I passed them out to random people at shows.
I was like, what the hell is this? Just
and-
taking.
Oh,
Fuck
Amy is talking. Amy is talking.
People will take pictures of them
I
like
don't even have that.
in
She
Alaska.
said, "Hi guys,
Oh.
screw those buttons," and flipped us off.
She did double flip offs. Yeah.
Double flip off. I love you,
Emoticon come
Amy.
in.
I know, isn't that cool?
I love you, Amy, and also I love Hunter. Tell them hello. Also, sorry, not sorry. Those mullet buttons are hilarious.
They are pretty funny. Just wait for the T-shirts. And
Will
if
you
I
make
ever
me
get
a
famous,
tank
there's gonna be a
top?
billboard.
Yeah, just wait for the billboard. Yeah, the sky flies.
Will you make me a tank top? I need a tank
Oh
top.
heck yeah, for sure.
Fantastic. That'd be great.
Yeah,
You're just like,
Amy
yeah.
hates us right now.
I know.
You just,
She hates
but
it.
you got to do it in the city she lives in too.
Oh, for sure. It's gonna be
lives
right
here.
down the street.
She lives in Rio
She lives here,
Rancho.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Make sure it's on her commute to work.
Well, I mean, come on, guys. I'm gonna defend her a little bit. She lives in Rio Rancho. That's bad enough, right? I posted that yesterday. I was like, had to drive to Rio Rancho. I guess I'll take another shower. And people got really offended by that.
They did. They got upset.
They got really upset about that. And I was just kidding. And they're like, oh, you don't think Albuquerque's pretty goddamn filthy?
Amy just wrote back and she said, "I love you, Holly, but not Curt."
Oh, she
So-
loves me. She loves the attention. I know she does.
man.
She promotes the page more than I do.
I know.
Oh, wow. It's funny. I'm like, this is awful. You did this to me. Anyway, it's amymullet.com.
I love you,
awful. I hate
Amy. I miss
Also,
you.
upset.
Yeah, I mean, let's just, in her defense, she grew up with Curt as her brother.
Oh, wow.
So
Oh, yeah.
she's
You have
probably a little
How many
angry.
siblings do you have?
Just two.
Just two?
But my whole family is just
Fucked up, crazy?
they're just all fucking hilarious people.
good.
Oh my gosh.
Like
His
my mom's
mom-
brothers are like all Harley riders and like truck drivers and shit,
Oh
and they're
my
just
Where,
like.
where did you grow up at?
I grew up in Iowa.
Iowa.
Oh, you look, I was going to say, you look Midwest.
Oh, thanks.
Like, you have that Midwest. And you have, like, Midwest nice.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you're Midwest night. So
I
his
learned about
mom,
this recently.
Yeah.
his mom is one
She
of my
is so
few.
funny.
She is one of my favorite human beings.
Mm-hmm.
So first of all, she's a mail carrier for my nail place
Uh-huh.
where I get my nails done, and she will always hug me. But she also calls me a hooker every time.
That's fantastic.
And that is
That
because
is so 90s.
the first time we went, oh no, it's not in the 90s way, like, hey hooker, like
Oh, okay.
it is like,
Holly, you look like a hooker.
you look like a hooker. So
Okay, I take
Sue is one of my favorite people. And the first time we went on tour, we happened to be in the
Montrose stuff.
car, the Montrose show. Before we went to Montrose, we happened to be in the car, and Kurt's mom was delivering mail, and she looks in the car, and she was like, "Where'd you pick up these hookers? Where'd you pick up these hookers?" And I laughed really hard, and then we became friends. Me and Sue are really good friends. And every time I walk in their house, she's like, "Hi, hooker, how's it going?" No, Kurt's mom is hilarious.
She is.
She
That's
does
pretty
it.
funny.
She is.
That's
She's
pretty
great.
awesome.
So she calls me Holly Hooker. Holly Hooker, Hooker
pretty
face.
Yeah, she's where I get my sense of humor for sure.
Yeah, your mom's great.
So I just recently went to Chicago, and I got the Midwest nice.
Oh yeah.
And how I knew people were nice is every bar we went into, the bartenders would talk to us.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And someone's like, "What's the big deal?" I go, "Oh, what's the big deal? Let me do my impression of a bartender in Albuquerque."
Hey, I'm not that bartender.
They walk over and they go, and you go, Perone. They walk over, pour
For those of those,
$3 or
Those-
I'm
$5.
not one of those
Yeah.
bartenders.
Now watch
That's
it
the
live.
conversation.
that was a head nod he was doing.
They
A
go-
silent head
I did a
nod.
silent head nod, and then stare, and then you go, Coors Light, and they walk over, pour Coors Light, walk back, and they go, $5. That's the conversation.
Oh yeah. Like in Iowa, like me and my brother would always make prank calls when we were younger, and they would start out as prank calls, and they would just end up as conversations because people are so nice. Like they knew it was a prank call at first, and then they just start talking to us or
what
go
you guys
along with it.
doing?
Yeah. Like there was one guy who he was an older guy, and we prank called him, and like he just like started talking to us, and like we ended up we introduced him to my friend's grandpa who lived like next door to him because he was like a lonely dude. Like you can tell because he talked to us for like hours, and like he invited us over to play checkers and stuff, and it was crazy.
So that reminds me of a story. You remember chat roulette?
Oh yeah,
Oh my god.
So you'd always like click through, and then someone was always masturbating.
always.
So one time we were at a party that was like late into the night, and so it's like 4 or 5 people left, and we were talking about it, and my friend Marty had never heard of it. So like me and my friend Marty and then 2 other people were like, well, we'll show you. And we pull up the computer and we're like going through it. And we end up on this guy.
It seems like I may have been here for that.
I think you may have been there. And so we end up on this guy who was like in this house that had an indoor pool. And then we end up talking to him for like 2 hours and he was like on acid.
Oh,
And we just
God.
we kept watching to see if he fell in the pool. You know, because we were worried. I don't know if we were worried about him or we were curious.
You're taking bets.
We were taking bets.
Taking bets.
I was
Just
probably on acid.
I went on chat roulette one time, and I was wearing my ex-wife's bra, and I put on some lipstick on my face. Like, it wasn't even, like, on the lips.
yeah.
And I was reading a book about Charles Manson.
Nice.
It was pretty fun to
I think it was before
watch
we
people
became
jerk off
friends,
and laugh
but
at the
I
same
saw
time.
that. I feel like I saw that before we became friends.
Did you ever see who did that? It was the guy from oh God, what was Ben Folds? Ben Folds did Ben Folds did a chat roulette in concert.
Oh, really?
And
Yes.
he would get to people, and then like he would just start playing, and they would be like, "Oh shit, we're like watching his concert." He'd be like, "She's a brick," you know, and it's like, what the fuck?
That's awesome.
And that's pretty amazing. I was like,
That is.
I love that kind of shit. You know?
Yeah.
It's like,
That'd be like us doing it right now.
yeah,
And what, a podcast?
podcast. Oh, we
Yeah.
should do that. We should do a chat roulette. I don't know.
Is it still around?
This is a good thing to find
Let's
out.
out.
That was a long time ago, it seems.
Fuck, let's see if we can find out.
That's true. I was a little kiddo back then.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was always some dude just randomly masturbating.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
And you'd be
always.
like, "Oh, there's a dude jerking off. Gross." Let's see.
And then all the girls would giggle. Oh, it's
Yeah.
so funny. And we're like, nah, it's kind of gross. Can we
Yeah.
skip this one?
Yeah.
I mean, why are we watching you, sir? Let's see. Is chat roulette still around? Let's see. Did you mean chat roulette? Yes, I did mean chat roulette. I am that sick. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's still around.
Oh, wow.
Let's see. It's probably evolved though. I would hope. Let's see.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is it gonna take control of this camera or that one? I don't know.
This might be a plan left for another day.
Yeah.
You need to have access to your camera and microphone. Yeah, it's still around though. We'll do this though. We'll do this. So, actually, with our new setup, this will work really well.
Oh, nice.
It'll be bad, but yeah.
You don't know what you just missed,
Yeah.
Holly.
We just made sure that chat roulette was still a thing.
Fuck, is
And
it?
that,
She was in the bathroom
And we
doing
could totally
splat
do it on the
roulette.
show.
And we're gonna be able to do it on the show, especially
man.
especially in the new setup.
Oh man, I just. Fuck. All right.
Guy masturbated right away.
Wow. Okay.
There was actually an icon.
He saw Chris and he jizzed all over the place.
I mean, I'm sure.
Oh! And the camera just.
Look at Chris. He's
Chris didn't
very
even say hi.
handsome.
My face is so white now. Call my face the White House.
Oh jeez.
So we have comedian Curt Fletcher on the show. I feel like we really haven't dove into like the meat of like talking to you, which that's fine. You'll
That's
be
fine.
in
That's a
town
good
again.
time.
Have a good time.
It's the second hour is not. We usually.
Yeah.
We usually steamroll the guest on the second hour.
What's the grossest story you have from the road?
The grossest?
Ooh.
Oh, man.
Don't tell a story about me.
Holly was farting.
Oh, yeah. She flirts a lot.
I mean, the grossest story I have from Kurt being on the road is that
So
he
the
drinks
gravy legs one?
chocolate. No, but he drinks chocolate milk on the road, which
Oh,
is
yeah.
weird.
Why is that weird?
It's
Why
gross
is that
Why
weird?
is that weird? Yeah.
because he leaves it in the car.
Oh, that is gross. I think it's all gross. It's all
I
hot.
drink it. And then I leave the container in the car sometimes.
So gross.
Why is that gross?
Yes.
I
See,
don't
I'm not
know.
getting
I
it
just
either.
don't find chocolate milk refreshing.
I saw a fake leg on the
What do you
side of
mean?
the road.
Yeah, we did.
Refreshing.
We
thought that was
saw a
gross.
fake leg on the side of the road. That was cool.
Someone
We
just
should have
left
got it.
Like they
I
were
don't know.
walking.
We were
and
trying
they're
to come up with different scenarios. Like maybe
We
it was like
think-
a truck full of
yeah.
fake legs and one just like flew out of the back.
Yeah, and then
I
we
was
just-
thinking it was like a couple and they got in a fight and the lady's like, "Fuck you, asshole!"
hit him with a leg.
And then
Yeah.
Or she pulled his leg off and left him laying there.
We should have turned back around and picked that up
yeah, that
because
would
it
have
would have
taken
been
a lot
great.
of time.
Who cares?
Yeah. What's the
Dead
scariest?
silence.
What's the scariest thing you saw on the road?
I almost got my nuts cut off at a corporate gig.
Oh,
That sucked.
What? How? What?
Yeah,
had a
so
knife
it was,
out?
it was
How
here,
have I
here in
not heard
Albuquerque.
this
You've heard
story?
this, I'm sure.
No.
My friend made a cartoon out of it. Yeah, I was doing a corporate gig. Sarah Kennedy was there. She's my opener. And just kind of like doing some crowd work at the beginning, kind of get the vibe of the room or whatever.
Some sheer.
So I was kind of messing with this guy, and he was like, I thought he was playing along, like, because he was like, talking back, and like I couldn't really see him because he's in the back, and then he just goes, "How about I cut your balls off?" And I was like, "Yeah, fine, sure." And then so he starts walking towards me, and I was like, "Oh shit."
Oh
my God.
He's not fucking around. Like, he's a big old cowboy dude. Like, he had to be at least 6'4". Like, he was big. And I was like, what's this guy gonna do? And then he comes up there and he grabs my pants, like grabs where my nuts were supposed to be.
You let him get that close?
And they disappeared. And
They just.
I don't know where they went.
So
he grabs me there and he pulls out a knife, like a little pocket knife. And I was like, dude, what the fuck? And I like backed up and he let go of me, and then he went and sat back down, and I was just like,
He just was like, I'm going to scare him.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And then I was standing there, and I was like, man, what do I do now? And I just like went right into the next joke. And I was like, yeah, if I walk out now, I don't get paid.
So
if I don't
Anyway.
stay here and tell jokes, I'm not gonna get paid.
Yeah.
That's what he literally just said, and that's the truth of stand-up comedy.
Well,
folks.
I was performing. It was a company called Western Technologies, and I remember making a joke.
Whoa.
And I made a joke, like I was like, oh, this type of shit wouldn't happen at Eastern Technologies, I'll tell you that.
So wait a minute, this is a corporate gig.
Yeah.
One of the employees.
I don't know if he's an employee. I think he might have been there with
He was
one
the
of the
CEO.
employees. Probably the CEO, yeah.
I'm Chicks.
Yeah.
No, I'm the leftover from the Silicon Prairie.
Yeah. I think a lot of people didn't know who he was.
Oh,
Because a lot of people were like really uncomfortable with what was going on.
I mean, obviously.
So, how was the comedy last night? It was great. It was good until they cut the comedian's nuts off with a pocket knife. Then
It got a lot less funny after
it was
that.
real
It got
dark.
a lot
Yeah.
less. It got really uncomfortable.
All the rest of the comedians after that were just kind of generic.
They seemed a little uncomfortable.
Kind of generic.
So,
That
yeah.
was here?
Yeah, it was
Well, that
some
sounds like
hotel.
something that would happen here.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, I'm not surprised. That's the sad part, is that after 4 years of doing comedy here, that does not surprise me. It doesn't.
Especially now. People get so offended now.
Oh, so
Here
upset.
or-
Just
Everywhere. They're
Like, I've
so
had to
offended.
cut jokes out of my set just because
You just get tired of it, right?
I don't get tired of it. I get tired of the people being offended at
Well,
it.
that's what I mean. Yeah, you get tired of it. You're just like,
Oh,
fine,
okay. I thought you
fine.
meant
Oh, yeah.
getting tired of the joke.
People
no.
get so offended. How do people get offended at your sets? Because I understand I understand people being offended at mine for
Yeah.
sure. Like, I'm a little divisive, but how do people get offended?
Well, it's funny
at
because
your set?
it's mostly white people who get offended at race jokes that
Wow.
aren't about white
Yeah,
people.
Okay.
Right.
Like, because I've got this joke that I tell, and like black people love the joke. Like literally the first time I told the joke was in Atlanta.
Is it
and
the
as a-
black people meet joke?
No.
Oh.
It was the master one.
Oh.
And
okay.
so
That's
yeah,
a
the
good
first
one.
time I told the joke was in Atlanta, and like I was only doing a 5-minute set, so I didn't have time to like get them on my side
It's
before
like
I told
one
the
of 3
joke.
jokes.
I just like threw it in just to see how it was gonna go. I was scared as fuck, but I did. I was like, fuck it.
You
And
know,
then I
someone
did it, and
cut
I
off
got
my
like
balls
a huge
anyway.
applause break.
Were they
Like,
like,
they loved
you
it,
corny. You corny.
and they loved it. So I was like, all right, I'll keep telling. And then like you tell it like at an all-white audience, and they just like
They
it's
get
like
clam up.
I'm Karen,
Yeah.
and I'm a mama 3, and I was
I'm
not into
Karen.
that.
I'm Janet. I can't.
I
Yeah.
work with a black guy at work.
I think I know his name.
yeah, we call him Black Tony.
Well, because we have 2 Tonys, so we have to
Well, the
figure
other's
out-
Antonio, but Brown Antonio.
Do you? Okay, so I have a good question for you.
Brown Antonio.
I have a good question for you because this is a question I get a lot
Yeah.
from people who are not as experienced in comedy as me and you, and you're more experienced than me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right, so Dave Chappelle and Bill Burr
Yeah.
came out with 2 comedy specials,
Oh,
right?
yeah, the Dave Chappelle
And they
one.
were great. I loved them both. That's what I'm gonna
I
say.
haven't watched the Bill Burr one.
I haven't yet either. I want to.
Do I agree with everything Dave Chappelle and Bill Burr said? Absolutely not. But do I find the humor in it? Yes, absolutely.
For sure.
So, in the years that you've been doing comedy, have you noticed an uptick in people getting offended in the recent years? And how do you deal with that? Do you write jokes around people being offended, or do you just do the jokes?
I usually just do the jokes and see what happens. Like, I don't have anything that's, like, super offensive or...
Oh, that must be nice.
Did you watch the Dave Chappelle?
I watched the Chappelle one. I liked it. Yeah.
How did you feel about the Dave Chappelle one?
You know the big one, right? The LGBTQ.
LGBTQ.
Which is
plus.
crazy because the Michael Jackson shit was pretty fucking on the line, too.
Yeah.
I went to school, and he's like, I'll be proud. Michael Jackson was my asshole.
Yeah.
That was, But it was funny. I mean,
I thought it was funny,
Okay, so I watched both. I watched Bill Burr and I watched Dave Chappelle. So I'm a huge Bill Burr fan. I feel like Bill Burr and I are kindred spirits. Like, we just talk about whatever the fuck we want to talk about. And if you don't like it, you don't like it. And that's that.
Right.
And that's how I am, and that's how Bill Burr is.
What's the controversial? I haven't watched that one. So what's controversial about that one?
The controversy came from... And I don't know. So this is the thing. If you ask a comedian what the controversy was, we're going to tell you we don't fucking know. Right? Like, we can pinpoint places where maybe people got triggered or people got offended. But to me, it was like, I'm looking at his work going, holy shit, that's a great joke. That's a great joke. You know what I mean?
That's how I watched the specials, too, is like... I don't really pay attention to, like, the subjects, that he's talking about. I think about the joke, like, I always try to think, like, how did he come up with that?
Yeah.
Like, or I try to guess the punchline, like, where's he going to go with it,
And I think there were
So I think it's different for other people who
I
aren't
think there were
watching
a
it like
couple
that.
of times in the Bill Burr special that I was like, okay, like, he had to know that this was going to piss Americans off. Because Bill Burr started his special literally saying... I'm in London. I'm so happy to be here. And London cheers. And he goes, no, not because I'm here. It's because I'm not in my country and everybody's triggered. And so as soon as he says that, his special is going to be good.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
So,
but here's the deal. When you're a comedian looking at that, and I think I'm speaking for Curt and myself and other comedians, you literally look at this separated from like somebody like you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like you could watch this special and be like, I hated it. We could watch this special and be like, that was amazing.
No.
He had so many amazing jokes.
And I understand that. And here's why I understand that. Because I do video and I do film and I do audio editing. And when I watch the fucked up thing about that is you watch a movie and you go, oh, that was great. How did they do that? Let me deconstruct how they did that. Or, ooh, they did that poorly. And
Yeah.
see it. And
that's
it ruins
what we
the magic. And you guys
And
are
I
watching
think comedians
the same
do
way.
that. Kurt, do
sure.
you do this
All the
where
time.
you watch a comedian and
It's
people
actually,
get mad and
It's
you're
gotten to
like,
the point
oh,
where
I get
sometimes
it.
I can't even enjoy comedy
Yes.
because I'm just thinking all the time, like,
Yes.
So
What are you doing?
So I understand what you're saying. I just don't understand it from your perspective. But mine's the movie and audio.
So
thing.
here's the thing
Sure.
about Bill Burr and Dave Chappelle, and this is my opinion. And Kurt, you can interject anytime. But Dave Chappelle, people were saying so many things, and that made me excited to watch it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Because I was like, oh, he made people mad. I want to watch this.
Think about all the
comedy
great
special.
comedians over the years, and like they all have people who fucking hate
like
him.
George Carlin.
George
and
Carlin
you
has a
think
bunch of
of
haters.
anybody.
Andrew Dice
And
Clay,
so,
Sam Kinison. Like,
as soon as somebody said, I hate this, I was like, I need to watch that. So I watched it.
Right?
And there was a lot of things that did I agree with him 100% on a personal level?
No, of course not.
Absolutely not.
No.
But on a comedic level, on a fellow comedian thing, I was like, holy shit, how did you pull off that joke? That joke was great. So I watched the Bill Burr special
I gotta watch
after that.
now, I guess.
See,
Yeah.
And
it's funny because like I'll do that too. Like the easiest way to get me to watch a show is to say, you know, I watched the show and I hated it. I'm
Yeah.
like, well,
Yes.
I'll be the judge of that.
exactly.
Yeah.
So here's the deal. Bill Burr. Bill Burr is the writer of F is for Family. Bill Burr is known for saying things that people otherwise don't want to say.
Famously, when comedians were getting fucking heckled in Philadelphia,
Yes.
walked
Oh my
out
God, that was-
and trashed
Yes.
the city of Philadelphia to their respect.
Yes.
Oh my God, I love
Exactly.
Yeah.
Bill Burr is a genius.
Fuck the Eagles.
Yeah.
Fuck the Flyers.
Fuck Rocky.
Fuck Rocky.
Bill Burr literally is for a comedian like me. So Kurt is a little different. You're a little different, and that's not to like say anything, but Kurt tells one-liners, and he's so likable, and he's so amazing, and so wonderful. And you say things that are offensive, but I feel like it's a little easier to take because you are so quick at being able to be like, here's a one-liner that'll fix that.
Uh-huh.
I am not that comedian. I am a Bill Burr. I
Okay.
am a Bill Burr. I talk about my real life, and if you don't like it, I don't give a fuck. If my whole show goes down in flames, I don't give a fuck because I know I'm funny, and you're an idiot if you don't think so.
Wow.
And Bill Burr is that way.
Yeah.
And so anytime Bill Burr has a special, I get so excited because that's me. I'm like, yes, absolutely. You should just tell your truth, son. Like, you have been traumatized and horrified and all this stuff. So everybody comes out on social media and they're like, he hates women. He hates,
Oh, wow.
and
Bill
all
Burr?
that. Yes, and all that did for me was like, I need to watch this because he doesn't hate women, and all these people got it wrong.
Wait a minute. So I don't know if it was the last special or the one before that where he talks about domestic violence. He talks about Rihanna and he talks about Chris
Yep,
Brown.
that's a special before.
Okay.
Yep.
Because I mean that one was like
He-
wow.
he
It's like,
is
I don't
so-
agree with it.
No,
I
but it's
understand
funny.
it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Bill Burr is, Bill Burr is my hero personally because that's the way I tell comedy.
Sure,
is
yeah, yeah.
I see something,
Okay.
and I think I see the humor in it, and a lot of people don't see the humor in it. You know what I mean? Like
Yes,
the
yeah.
things I talk about, people don't think they're funny. I talk about eating babies. You know what I
Hilarious.
mean?
That's hilarious.
And there are some people,
And delicious.
right?
I hope so. I want to find out.
Dude.
But it to me it's like, okay, I'm writing this joke and I love it, and I think this is kind of the bane of Kurt's existence, is that sometimes I write jokes where I'm like, I see the humor, but nobody else does, and I'll still tell it.
Well, I mean
that reminds me. You
And
remember,
Bill Burr is that way.
you remember when we did Cards Against Humanity, and I would
Yes.
always do the same thing,
Yes.
even though I knew everyone hated
yes.
it.
Every time there were people that would come back and they would be like, Smiley would be like, well, I've got my card out, and he would do the same one every time, and he would do voices, and people would be disgusted by it, and no matter what, James did it. He
Yep.
didn't give a
Every single-
fuck.
I loved it.
And I feel like
I thought
that's
it was great.
I feel like that's how Bill Burr is, and then we'll get into Chappelle because I think there's a deeper conversation. But
I feel like we need to do another one of those Cards Against Humanity nights.
You want
And
me,
we should.
Do you want me to do the line?
Yes. Okay, do it here. Do it real quick for Holly, everybody.
Daddy, why is mommy crying?
Every week, man.
But so everybody came out against, and I think Netflix was kind of an asshole for being like, let's release Dave Chappelle's special, and then a week later, we're gonna release
knew
we're
what they
gonna
were
release
doing.
Bill Burr, and everybody's gonna be already mad.
Oh, yeah.
So
oh,
let's
yeah.
just do this. So Bill Burr comes out and he talks about like the Me Too movement, which I thought I was gonna get worked up about, right? Like
Yeah.
I was like, oh God, I'm gonna hate this joke. But the thing is, he had a point. He had a point. And did I agree with it? Not 100%, but it was fucking funny. And that's comedy, is you don't have to agree with it.
No.
It's just funny.
No, yeah.
And so I watched Bill Burr, and I'm like, holy shit, I don't agree with him. I don't see eye to eye with him, but also I see his point. So I watched Dave Chappelle's special after Bill Burr's. And I literally could not understand why people were mad. Because it was so smart and it was so brilliant.
Which
and I
one?
think you
Sorry.
can agree with me.
Which one you couldn't?
The latest one.
Of
Chappelle's.
Chappelle.
Of Chappelle's. There is no way. Here's the thing. You
haven't seen it yet.
cannot agree with him. There's 100% ways you could say, I don't agree with him.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
But, and you don't have to agree with a comedian. That's
No.
not why we do
You don't have
this.
to agree with anybody. Everybody has an opinion,
Right.
and that's life.
We
Yeah.
don't have to agree with comedians 100%. We
No.
don't for them to be funny. There is a line where, okay, he wasn't offensive. I did not think Chappelle was offensive, and I'm going to say that 100%. I didn't think he was offensive. I think he was, first of all, I think he knows that everybody was going to be triggered. And I think he was ahead of that, and he knew the jokes he could
yeah.
write
Yeah.
from the people reacting to this special.
Well-
That's where I think he was. And I don't think Chappelle is heartless, and I don't think he is awful the way everybody portrayed him. I think Curt can agree with me. He's been doing this for 16
You're talking
years.
about the LGBTQ stuff, right? 'Cause
Not
that-
even just that. I mean,
that
it
was
was
the
a
big-
lot of
but that
things.
was-
There's even more stuff.
There's so
I saw a
many
lot of
things
people
in
get
that
pissed off.
special that
But-
could be construed
But-
a certain way.
Yeah.
You do know that, like, that was carried over from the previous
It
one.
was. It
Yeah.
absolutely was. And the thing is, I think he was ahead of it. And
Yeah.
I think he knew, if I say this, people are going to get mad, and I'm
I'm
going to
not
be
mad.
able to write jokes about it. You know what I mean?
I felt like, honestly, I felt like the new Chappelle special on Netflix was the newer version of, like, Eddie Murphy Delirious. Like, it was, like, so good, but, like, you know.
It made you uncomfortable.
Yes.
And I
like,
think
that
our
was-
country needs to be uncomfortable.
Yeah,
Can you
everyone-
imagine how
Unaware.
pissed people would be if Eddie Murphy came out with that stuff today?
Oh my God.
Oh, that's
they
nuts,
would
dude.
lose it.
Well, I mean, because it was very
Like, if-
homophobic.
Oh, yeah,
If
yeah. for
Eddie
sure.
Murphy came out and just did the same. This is a good
Yeah,
question.
yeah.
How did you feel about Eddie Murphy? And if you rewatched it now, would you think it's inappropriate?
Well, some of it, yeah.
Oh, Eddie,
but-
that was like one of the first comedy specials I ever listened to, you know?
Yeah.
Like me
I
and my
mean,
brother
all
would
of
always
us,
walk around
yeah.
quoting it and stuff. And
Yes.
We'd
We'd play basketball and we'd have it playing
Oh,
on the
yeah,
tape
for
player.
sure. I even had, I still have a tape of Eddie Murphy. He's got that song "Boogie in the Butt."
Raw,
Shit's
raw,
funny.
and raw and delirious. Say what you want, but those were not comedy specials. Those were comedy.
Eddie Murphy.
I mean, they were so big.
They were
Here's the
huge.
thing,
And he
though.
was so young when he did it.
Eddie Murphy changed, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. Eddie Murphy changed the face of comedy.
Yes,
for sure.
Well,
And he made it so
Yeah.
that you can say, hey, here's the deal. I might be saying something offensive on stage, but that doesn't mean I believe it.
Yeah.
That means I'm taking what everybody's freaking out about, and I'm making everybody laugh at it.
yeah.
Because here's the deal. Everybody deserves to laugh for 10 seconds
Right.
about a thing that's hard to laugh about.
I was
Yeah.
just thinking he made it okay to wear red leather.
I mean, true. Also, I
do
love
you,
that.
Do you know, like, okay, so he was on Saturday Night Live. Do
Yes.
you know, like, the history of his whole tenure at Saturday Night Live?
Absolutely.
I mean, you do, like the behind the scenes
Yes.
stuff? Like the.
I
because-
mean, what I've heard.
Okay,
So
Lorne Michaels like left SNL,
yeah.
Yeah.
and if it
For a
wasn't
little bit.
and for 4 years,
Yep.
and Eddie Murphy came in, and like if it wasn't for Eddie Murphy, SNL wouldn't be around
Right.
because he was the guy they pulled
Eddie Murphy
in.
saved it.
Yes, and like even Lorne Michaels was like, yeah, if he wouldn't have been on that, it would have got canceled.
Well, I think here's the thing that's sad to me about Eddie Murphy, and again, Curt can correct me,
Yeah.
but I feel like people forgot about how great he was.
Oh.
Oh,
So,
one of the
like,
best.
when you hear about people talking about heroes, you hear them talking about, George Carlin and Richard Pryor, and they're great. They're
Yeah.
so great.
Yeah.
But the thing is that
Richard
Eddie
Pryor.
Murphy did such an amazing thing. It was like, you get George Carlin, you get Richard Pryor, you get all these people, but Eddie Murphy was the person of our time
Sure.
who changed everything.
Yes.
Yeah,
He
like, I was
changed so
disappointed that he
many
started
things.
making movies and
Yeah.
didn't continue doing stand-up because it was so damn good.
He literally took comedy to a place where it was okay
Yeah.
for a comedian who wants to say offensive things to go, wait, it's a joke. I'm not being a shock comic.
I
Yeah.
actually know Phil
I
Clark.
mean, yeah, exactly. And I think I feel sad for Eddie Murphy because he doesn't get the credit he deserves because he was kind of in that in between.
Yeah.
He was in that in between like George Carlin and Richard Pryor, and then you have Eddie Murphy and all these people,
Well-
and then you have like other people who broke out.
I feel like people of my age totally give him every due because I mean,
But, I mean, of course-
I would go bounce a basketball and listen to Eddie Murphy lyrics
Of
Yeah.
course,
for the
but
100th time.
Yeah.
here's the thing,
I have
and
both Beverly Hills Cops movies on VHS.
And they're amazing. Like, we all, our generation loves him and we appreciate him, but still, our generation is like, I love George Carlin, I love
Carlin's
Richard
amazing.
Pryor, and they were amazing. I'm not taking away from that.
And
But also,
David-
I feel like Eddie Murphy gets kind of ignored. And I don't know why, because he's so funny.
he's not-
and he
he's-
did Dr.
he-
Dolittle.
He's not very
So-
dominant. He's not very dominant in the new generation. He hasn't
Right.
been. His face is not recognized.
Well-
To us, it is.
And-
I grew up with him.
Okay.
I mean, here's
But
the
nowadays-
thing. He did Dr. Dolittle. How can anybody forget
Okay.
him?
I want to dispute this a little bit. So I feel like what you're saying is he doesn't get the credit, but I think he will. It's
He
just
will
time. It's just
eventually.
time. It's just
But
like one
what
of those
I'm
things where
saying
everyone
is-
growing up, they're like, well, who did you look at?
Why do we have to wait until they die to give them
right,
credit?
and that's a good
Because
one.
he's amazing, and I love him.
I've heard he's gonna do stand-up again.
I
Well,
hope so. I
so
heard he got paid
everything-
like $8 million to do a Netflix special. That's
Uh,
what I
everything's
heard.
leaning that way. So, like, if you watch Comedians in Cars that getting coffee, the Jerry Seinfeld Eddie Murphy one is fantastic.
Is it? I haven't seen that one.
It is so good. And
It's really good.
it's interesting because I had in my mind that he was out of touch.
Uh-huh.
He
and
wasn't.
Like him and Jerry, like just boom, they just start talking about comedy.
Eddie
It
Murphy is
fucking
amazing.
fascinating. Like they could have done 4 hours of talking.
If I could
And
sit
like-
down, here's the thing. If I could sit down with anybody in comedy and say,
yeah,
I want to learn what I can about comedy, I would probably, as much as I love Whitney Cummings and all of these female comedians who are coming up, I would probably choose Eddie Murphy
okay,
because he has managed to not only do comedy and become iconic for Raw and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, people remember his outfit, people remember his jokes, he impacted people,
he's
right?
Al Rocket too.
So, and then he got into movies, he did all the stuff. I love Whitney Cummings. I do. I love her so much. And as a female comedian, for sure I want to be Whitney Cummings. But has she reached that level
No,
of iconic?
no.
No,
Very few
absolutely
very few.
not.
Every
Um,
friend that I have named Sanchez, I always go, "Hey Sanchez, Goonie Goo Goo."
Exactly.
Yes.
They don't know what the fuck I'm
The
talking
thing
about.
is like, I think people are forgetting
Okay.
how iconic he really is.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
he's
Okay.
amazing.
How can they? How can they forget? Like when
I
Because
don't.
they forget
His-
Dr. Doolittle
Because he
and
did a
all
shitload
this
of bad movies.
stuff.
Because he did a shitload of bad
Hey,
movies.
Dr. Doolittle is not a bad movie.
I know
It is
Pluto Nash is a
amazing.
bad movie.
He
I
talked
love
to a
that.
guinea
Distinguished
pig the
Gentleman
whole
was a good movie.
What's that?
his
The
brother
Distinguished
got
Gentleman?
famous
That's actually
Oh,
not bad.
that's a good one.
Okay, but so
just by telling stories about him.
Right.
Okay, so you have comedians in cars getting coffee. You have Eddie Murphy, and you have Jerry Seinfeld. You
Yes.
have one of the filthiest comedians of all time,
Yes.
successful, and then the most successful
Clean.
Clean
clean
comedian.
comedian of all time.
But the thing
sitting in
is-
a car together and telling stories about how they did shows together at like a Chinese restaurant.
But
Oh, yeah.
the thing is,
That's awesome.
Jerry Seinfeld was not as clean as you think until he got the show Seinfeld.
He was, but
And
that's-
no, here's the deal. I have watched so many documentaries and read about it.
Uh-huh.
Until Seinfeld happened, he wasn't, I mean, he was clean, but he wasn't
Here's the
as
deal.
clean. So,
What's the deal?
But here's the thing. That became his thing because of the
Right,
show.
but-
Once he got that show, that's who he became as a comedian.
course,
And
of course.
as comedians, Kurt, do you ever want to be a Jerry Seinfeld where people tell you what to say?
Or a Larry,
No.
Larry the Cable
No.
Guy, where they're like, oh, this is
No,
what hit.
Larry the Cable Guy could go fuck himself. Jerry Seinfeld
I like
got
Larry the
fucked.
Cable Guy.
in his private
No,
jet,
I've
he could
heard-
go
I've
fuck
heard-
himself.
No,
He's
but
like one of the
Jerry
nicest
Seinfeld
dudes.
got
On the island of
fucked.
their own.
I have a friend that tours with Larry the Cable Guy.
I mean, he's a
On a
great
jet.
guy, but Jerry Seinfeld literally got fucked. Larry the Cable Guy put himself in that position. Jerry
And got
Seinfeld-
a private jet.
and he's got
Okay,
a lot of
cool,
money.
but also you're not understanding what I'm
I
saying here.
I am.
Jerry Seinfeld wrote a show, didn't think it was going to be as popular
But he didn't write
as
that
it
show.
was.
He didn't write that show.
No.
I mean, okay.
Larry David wrote that show.
Yeah.
Okay, Larry David write a show about him, and that makes it worse, Chris. Be that
True.
makes it worse is that somebody else wrote a show,
Yeah.
and he then has to
Yeah.
be that comedian who
I don't-
talks about socks in the dryer
You know
and
what?
things like that. You know what I
That's
mean?
called acting, and that's what I do for a living.
Yeah, but here's the thing: if you just want to be an actor, cool. But if you want to be a comedian and they're now changing your comedy,
Well, that's
But-
still
that
it's,
sucks.
it's just a different stage.
But
persona.
yeah, he did. Yeah, I mean, he made his whole. I mean, he's one of the richest people in the world.
I mean, sure,
Yeah,
but
it's like
how
it's,
much
it's like
does
acting.
he
It's like he's
enjoy-
a character, you know.
I mean, sure, but do you want to play that character for 20 years when you don't
Oh, if
want
you're making
to?
that fucking much money, yeah.
I mean, sure. If you ask us, yeah, but if you get to that point where that's the only thing you can do and you want to do real comedy and you can't because Larry David ruined your life,
you can do whatever the fuck you want, though. You can change
I mean,
it up.
Larry David can ruin my life any day of the week.
I
Larry
was gonna
David
say, 'cause
is the best.
I mean, Jerry
But
Seinfeld's
I'm
worth almost
saying-
$1 billion.
but
Oh, yeah.
what I'm saying,
I would love
though,
to see Jerry Seinfeld come out and just do a dirty hour.
I don't
Oh my
How fucking
God.
great would that be?
It's like Bob Saget.
Yeah.
Everybody thought Bob Saget
But I've
was
never-
this sweet guy, but he is the dirtiest
Uh-huh.
comedian of all time ever.
Well, if
He
you ever
is
saw
the
his
best
stand-up
aristocrats
before,
joke ever.
He never changed his stand-up.
He did
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
but what I'm saying though, I mean that's fair. I mean, again, Larry David can come and ruin my life
I don't
any
think
day
Jerry
he would
Seinfeld
like.
was filthy as fuck, though.
He wasn't,
He wasn't.
I doubt
filthy,
it.
but
I doubt
here's
it.
the deal: he couldn't have come out with a special like that, even if he wanted to. There's no way he could have.
I think Jerry
I'm pretty
Seinfeld
sure
was
he can do
great.
anything he wants.
As
Oh
a
no,
comedian.
he's great. He's totally great. But Larry
I
David
watched
defined.
his comedy. You're correct. Which
Larry
was
David defined his comedy.
correct. But and the thing about that was Larry David was not a successful comedian. Not at all. But like Jerry Seinfeld was, and I remember watching Jerry Seinfeld, and that's why I watched his show. I watched it when it was the Seinfeld Chronicles, when it was on CBS.
No, and
And then
that's
it
totally
switched,
fine.
and
I'm
then-
for sure not putting down Seinfeld. I enjoy Seinfeld.
I just think it's great that him and Eddie Murphy actually worked and came up
Yes.
together.
That's cool, yeah.
And like Eddie
Absolutely.
Murphy remembered, like, he's
and
like,
they
I
don't
remember
put
working
each
that
other
show.
down.
Uh-huh.
Like
No,
I
'cause
like
that's
that.
comedy.
Yes, and that's the thing is that comedy is a weird craft, and I think you'll agree with me. Is that if somebody makes it and they're completely opposite of you, and you can't. But if you came up with somebody in comedy
And they make it.
you're never gonna be mean.
Well,
you're
he-
never.
Oh, I thought it was the opposite. I thought you
No.
hated him. That's
Hell
the
no.
way.
Because here's the thing. We all suffer. All of us. We
Yes.
suffer hard. Hard, hard, hard. And the people who really work and the people who really come up, those people are not going to put each other down. So Eddie Murphy and Seinfeld
Yeah.
are never going to put each
Oh, I
other
know, but I
down
mean,
because they
oh,
were in the
all right.
trenches.
Oh, right.
It's like war.
Well, it's still comedians, though. So
No.
if someone makes it, you got to go, fuck them.
No. And
That's
that's
kind of
the
cool, though,
thing.
because it makes you want to work harder and get
Yeah.
to that level, too,
Yes.
though, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But
it's kind of like a
I
good
really
motivation.
don't think comedy is as cutthroat as people want it
Oh,
to
really?
be.
Okay.
It is, but here's the thing. If you are successful and you work hard and you meet another person who is successful and works hard, you're not going to cut them down.
That's good.
If you're doing a good job,
Who does
people are
that?
gonna shit on you though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who does that?
I mean,
everywhere,
people will
man.
talk shit, but here's the deal. Royal and I are a perfect example. We're like, you work hard, the other person works hard. Like, I work hard, you work hard, we're going to be friends, we're going to work together.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that goes even to the level of, like, Seinfeld.
I mean, because comedy in the '80s, like I get a lot of. I listen to a lot of Mark Maron.
Oh yeah.
And
I love Mark Maron.
they don't talk a lot like that. They talk like he's like, yeah, I saw you. Mark Maron's like, I saw you. You were good. I hated you.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
You hate them from afar though. You don't go up to them like fuck you.
you don't
You know?
cut them. So I think there's like a weird. Kurt even told me when I first started comedy is like, don't be mean to somebody because you might work with them in the future.
Yeah.
Well, that's life.
And
man.
so
That
there
can
might
awesome.
be-
for sure.
Yeah, that's
You
called
might
Don't
have
Burn
the-
Bridges. I learned that
Right.
when I was like from
Yeah.
the Peter Rabbit story.
You would think
Oh, yeah.
that's common sense.
It's not though.
but it's
sometimes.
not. Like, if you're
No.
going to be successful,
No. Yeah.
you have to be nice to other people.
Yeah.
And, like, here's the deal. Yeah, somebody might get something greater than you.
Uh-huh.
But here's the deal. If they're getting something greater than you and you're nice to them, they might take you on tour with
sure.
them.
Never know.
Or,
Yeah, never know.
you know,
When I started here, like people fucking hated me.
why?
Like the comics, because it
Really?
was mostly like older white dudes that were doing comedy.
I mean, fair.
And they've been doing it for 5 to 7 years, and weren't getting anywhere, And like I showed up, and like my first set I ever did like went really well, and I got
Where was your first set?
was that Laughs?
Can you
Oh.
tell that story?
Yeah, I want to hear about that place. I never went there.
I remember that.
Yeah,
place.
so I'd always wanted to do stand up since I was like 4, because my mom would always listen to George Carlin, Eddie Murphy, and stuff, and I just loved it. And so I decided when I was 21, a bunch of my friends finally talked me into doing it. So I signed up. I was like, all right, I picked a date. Laughs did open mic once a month, the first Sunday of the month.
Once a month?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I did. That was the only open mic in town too. So I was like, all right, August 5th, I'm gonna write some jokes. I'm
And
gonna
now
go down
we
there.
have, like 6 open mics.
Oh, there's
in
so
town.
many. So I was like, that's the day. I'm gonna do it. I invited everybody I knew, and took the day off of work and everything.
Oh, damn.
And yeah, so I go, and I used to have parties at my house all the time, and I used to wear this stupid fucking. I had this giant Garfield clock that I wear around my neck. And
Like a Flav style?
Yeah, I always told people I was Fletcher Flav. And, so I had this ridiculous clock, and like, and I always wear like a beanie over my face. So I was like, I'm gonna do that on stage. And it helped a lot because I put the beanie over my eyes so I didn't have to make eye contact with anybody. Because like I had the worst stage fright ever. Like I almost left. Like my friend had the
You
sign.
saw the stage fright? No?
Not anymore.
You
no.
can't anymore,
No.
yeah.
You grow out of it.
But yeah, my friend had to sign my name on the list, and I was like, "Fuck, I can't bail," because like 40 people showed up to watch me. You know what I mean?
40 people showed up to watch you.
Yeah, and
Man,
it was
you're a popular guy.
It was packed. Like it was because it's
You're like,
the,
it's
the only
anomaly packed here at Laughs.
the only open mic in town. So like, there's about 20 comics that night, and like the professional comics were there, and there were like 4 or 5 professional comics, and
Really?
and I went up and like as like the first thing I said got a laugh. I was like, holy fuck, this is awesome. Like, this is a big laugh, I was like, fuck, this is
You were
cool.
done at that point, huh?
And so that boosted my confidence a little bit, and then I did like probably 3 minutes of the 5 minutes because I rushed it, and like you used to do, and
Thank you for pointing that out.
but it went really well, and so like after the show, the club owner, who's still a good friend of mine, he comes up to me and he gives me his business card, and he's like, hey, call me this week, and I was like, okay, cool. And then I just kind of like put it in my pocket, and then the headliner of the night was there. Like he came up, he's like, hey, how long have you been doing stand up? And I was like, like 5 minutes. And he's like, that was your first time? I was like, yeah. He's like, fuck, that's good, man.
Yeah.
He's like, keep it
Nice,
up. And I was like,
wow.
all right, cool.
Yeah.
And then there's another guy.
And he hated telling you that.
No, he was actually really cool.
no?
Yeah.
Most comedians are actually pretty cool if
Yeah.
you're talented.
Especially like road dogs like that, Like
Oh,
he's
yeah.
been
Yeah.
Road
he's been doing it
dogs
for, like,
are like whatever.
since the 70s, Like,
Yeah.
No, terribly bad.
And then so I called the guy that gave me the business card. Turned out he was the owner of the club, and he's like, hey, I want you to do a guest spot Sunday. I was like, I don't know what that is. Like I've never. Like, this is my first time doing
I don't know what
comedy
that
ever.
means.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, you just come in. We have a professional show Sunday. and I want you to do a set at that show. And I was like, holy shit.
Same thing you did. No?
Yeah. So it was like my second show ever was a guest set at the comedy club.
Yep.
And like that's why
Yeah.
those guys all hated me. It was like because my second show was a professional show, and I went down there,
Yeah.
and I didn't have the 40 people there that night. I just ate a huge pile of shit, and I was like, yeah, what the fuck?
As
know?
you should
Yeah.
have.
And so
Like you,
After
at the
the-
time, you're like, fuck. And then now you look back and you go, yeah, I should have ate shit.
yeah, for sure. And then after the show, I was like, man, that sucked. So then the owner comes up to me again. And he's like, come back next Sunday, do the same thing. And I was like,
Are you sure?
I was like, you saw
Yeah.
the set, right? He's like, yeah. I was like, okay.
All right.
Yep.
And then so I came back the next Sunday, same thing, ate a pile of shit. And he's like, come back next Sunday. I was like, for real? He's like, yeah. I was like,
Why?
you saw, right? He's like, yeah, it was a small crowd. He's like,
Yeah.
you're fine. I
Kurt
was like, oh, okay. So I
Fletcher.
didn't understand, like, a small crowd's not gonna be as big
Yeah.
obviously, as
Here's
a
the
fucking
a couple
big
people are
crowd.
gonna giggle. Yeah.
So like all
Here's
those
the
all
thing
those people
about
at the
Curt
open mic just
Fletcher.
hated me.
Like, Curt Fletcher will be like, I had a bad set. Nobody liked it. Blah, blah, blah. And for me, those sets are like, I would kill
I
my
would
firstborn
kill your
son for that. Like, holy shit. Kurt is the most naturally funny person I have ever met in my life. He can walk out on stage and just see the crowd and then kill. And
Yeah.
I don't, still to this day, I don't know what his method is. Because I can see him writing his set
Murdering.
list.
That's what this.
I mean, probably. But writing his set list, I'll see him write his set list out before the show. And then sometimes he'll go out there. It doesn't work. He'll do a whole other set list. He does one joke and then changes everything.
Shit.
So when
I've got like tester jokes that I do usually at
Yep.
the beginning of the set. Like, so I've got a joke where it's kind of a dirtier joke, and I know like if they don't laugh at it, then I've
Yeah.
got to change it up a
You have
little bit.
to
Oh,
do
that's
another
awesome. It's
set.
like choose your own adventure.
Yeah.
You guys-
So if they
And
do
I
like
learned that
it,
from
I'm like,
him.
okay, I can pull off some shit.
And
here.
I learned that from him because when I first started, I was like, how the fuck do you do this? Because you see
Yeah.
him and you see him be an expert where it's like, you're a hero, like no matter what crowd. And he was like, you have to do tester jokes. There's a joke that you do, and I do that. I have a tester joke it happens to be Curt Fletcher's favorite joke of mine, but I hate it. And I use that as a tester joke because if people laugh at it, I know, oh, okay,
Yeah.
I can do this for the rest of the night.
Yep.
Curt Fletcher is a genius. If you can go
He's
see
like, you ever
him,
have sensitive balls?
I should write some material.
And
on
everybody's like,
sensitive-
no.
You
And he goes,
should.
all right.
you should.
Not gonna go that way. I hate to be the buzzkill on this whole thing, but
No,
we're,
it's okay.
we're way over time.
I know.
And
I'm usually able to keep my bladder under control, and I'm like,
I know. I'm like,
Yeah.
I have to pee too.
I want to throw it out there to everybody. But I actually forgot to say in the first hour, I actually do have something coming up. I didn't even.
What do
think
you
about
have
that.
coming up?
October 26th. For the second year in a row, I will be
no.
hosting Hemp Fiesta. I'll be hosting October Fiesta at Santa Fe Brewing in Santa Fe.
Yay!
Yeah, where
Good job, Chris.
a bunch of people are actually. There's a bunch of people like we're all gonna go up there and we're gonna watch you. And I'm like,
Am I
this is-
invited? What is
You're
this?
absolutely invited.
All right.
This is
Am
my,
I invited?
Yeah, absolutely invited.
Okay.
This is my second year to MC this event. I'd never MC'd an event this large until last year,
Oh, cool.
and I haven't since. So
Do you love it?
I thoroughly
You love it.
I
You're
got
so
your
back,
good
man.
at it.
Heck yeah.
I did a really great job. There, people like literally came out and they're like, "That was a great job." I was like,
I
really?
love that.
I was wasted. You know?
Hey, that's how I make my living. Just, you did a great job.
Yeah,
I was
so
wasted.
I'll
Welcome,
be
Chris.
at Santa Fe Brewing Oktober Fiesta
Fantastic.
on the 26th.
Good job,
Cool. Heck
Chris.
Who
We're
else?
so proud of you.
Who else has things going on?
Oh, my comedy album has been called Offensive, and racist. I'm just trying to get more people to listen to it.
They're like, he's the next Chappelle.
He's a ginger-headed Chappelle.
He's from Iowa.
You can't say ginger.
I can say ginger.
No, you can't.
You're my best friend.
Okay.
Whatever.
They
Continue.
grind up all those ginger babies for all that ginger stuff. It's awful. You should do some sort of documentary.
Oh, God. Don't encourage him.
Oh, man.
He's just a ginger-headed
But
fuck.
where are
It's
you?
fine.
You know where you're gonna play next?
Colorado Springs next Friday and Saturday.
Looney?
Loonies. And
Yeah.
then I'll be in Denver at the Comedy Works on the 28th. And then I got 3 weeks in Texas, Plano, Dallas, Fort
Sorry.
Worth, McAllen.
What
No, I
happened?
love it there, man.
Oh, okay.
Hyenas Comedy Club.
Plano? What's in Plano?
There's a comedy club called
comedy
Hyenas.
Plano has a comedy
Hyenas.
club?
Yes,
Yeah.
called
Yeah.
Hyenas. If you want to book me, Hyenas, let me know.
All right.
Yeah,
apologize.
I'll be working with, this week I'm working with Alex Hooper.
Ooh,
I don't know if you guys ever saw him.
Alex
No,
Hooper
he
is so
has the
good.
snakes and the rock and roll show.
No.
No.
He was on America's Got Talent. He,
Yes.
he
Alex
roasted
Hooper.
all the judges. And he was
Oh,
wearing
wow.
that goofy outfit. He's
I
fucking
love
hilarious.
Alex
He's
Super.
so
Tell him
funny.
I said hello.
I will.
I said Alex Cooper. I was like, oh, I know that guy.
I know the former guitar player for Alice Cooper.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, he lived in my hometown.
Tucson.
Well, he lived in Clarion, Iowa.
Oh, okay.
He moved to
Because
help
Alice
his
Cooper was
buddy
like
out.
Phoenix, man.
Yeah.
Alice Cooper was like, I'm a heavy metal icon, and I'm gonna move to Phoenix and become a Republican in golf.
Yeah.
That's what
And
he
open
did.
a restaurant
Weird.
that closes early on
Called
Fridays.
Cooper's.
Yeah.
Called Cooper's next to
Oh,
the baseball arena.
And
Yeah, I
it
went there one day on a
closes at,
Friday.
10 p.m.
I went there at like 9 o'clock and it was closed. I was like,
Oh.
what?
Ugh,
You, Alice
it was
Cooper.
awful.
I sent him a tweet. I was like, hey, you ever go to a restaurant like Friday, 9 o'clock-ish, and you're really disappointed that they're closed?
Huh.
He never wrote
It's
back.
called Cooper's. It's called Cooperstown.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's got a bunch of
It's
baseball
awful.
memorabilia there.
It closes
Is
all
it?
the time.
Have you been there?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's awful.
No snakes. Weird.
Yeah.
So Holly, what do you got going on?
Tomorrow, as every Monday, I have my open mic with Royal Wood called Idiot Revolution at Inside Out downtown. That's every Monday at 9-ish. I say it like that because that's how we decide when it starts. 9-ish.
It's kind of becoming one of the big popular scenes in town. So
It is.
Plausible deniability.
She doesn't want to say it, but it is.
It's I'm humble.
It's taking over
It's
downtown.
fine.
It's taking it
That's
over.
cool.
It's a fun time,
People
and
pop,
then
celebrities pop in.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Let's be
they
honest.
pop in. And then also, if you want to come see me and get a beverage from me, I'm at Hollow Spirits on Friday and Saturdays from 11 a.m. to about 5 p.m. And that's all I have. Thanks, Chris, for
I don't
making
know.
hand motions that I don't approve of.
Ooga.
Oh, God.
All right.
Just kidding.
You can catch me. Please actually do this on NBC app or on Hulu. The second season of Midnight Texas. We've been canceled before. It'd be nice for us to come back again. And I'm also on the show web series Snatchers. If you can find it, let me know because I haven't even seen it.
Are you filming anything right now?
No, we just finished filming, and you know I can't talk about anything until
Oh,
it
that's
comes
right.
out.
Yeah. The new one you filmed, you can't even talk about it.
Yeah. The last 3 things I've been on, I can't talk about until they come out.
Super famous people.
Yeah.
Super famous people. Yeah. I want to talk about for a second El Camino.
Oh yeah.
I haven't watched it yet.
I haven't fully watched it.
I haven't seen it
I
yet
might watch
either.
it tonight.
People are shitting on it a little bit. I saw some shitting on it a little bit. But the one thing I laughed about was somebody put a meme on. They're like Albuquerque vendors and the tourist industry when El Camino comes out. And there's like people dancing. I just laughed. I was like,
Rude.
yeah, that's true.
Rude. True.
That's
but
right.
rude.
Bring it back.
Yeah.
We
So
like-
check
we
us
like
out
us
on
first.
tendrinkminimum.com, facebook.com/tendrink every Sunday night from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. We're usually here. Our show is at Tendrink, at Curt Fletcher Comedy.
Comedian Curt
Oh,
Fletcher.
yeah,
I
at
don't
comedian
know.
Curt Fletcher.
Instagram.
at Hollybird Comedy.
Yes.
Boom. And with that,
We are 10 drink minimum.
That's so adorable.
Got that on there. Got that on the thing. Hold on.
That's fun,
Hold on.
guys.